Knockouts that really attract the fans, and both of those two items have become very prevalent of late. The National League, of course, will be the home team here in the home of the Colorado Rockies, the National League Ball Club. We're going to get the introduction of all of the players involved in this. Let's go to Kelly Burnham, the public address announcer.
From the Minnesota Twins, Dick Martin. The batting practice staff. From the Cleveland Indians, Johnny Gorel, Jeff Newman, in the bullpen, Mark Wiley and Luis Isaac. The coaches, from the New York Yankees, Joe Torre. From the Oakland Athletics, Art Howe. And now, the American League All-Star team. From the Anaheim Angels, outfielder Darren Erstad. Pitcher Troy Percival. From the Baltimore Orioles, first baseman Rafael Palmeiro. From the Boston Red Sox, pitcher Tom Gordon. Pitcher Pedro Martinez. From the Chicago White Sox, second baseman Ray Durham. From the Cleveland Indians, shortstop Omar Vizquel. Catcher Sandy Alomar Jr. Outfielder Manny Ramirez. And pitcher Bartolo Colon. From the Detroit Tigers, second baseman Damian Easley. From the Kansas City Royals, third baseman Dean Palmer. From the Minnesota Twins, pitcher Brad Radke. From the New York Yankees, shortstop Derek Jeter. Third baseman Scott Brosius. Outfielder Paul O'Neill. From the Oakland Athletics, outfielder Ben Grieve. From the Tampa Devil Rays, pitcher Orlando Arroyo. From the Texas Rangers, pitcher Aaron Seeley. Pitcher John Wetland. From the Toronto Blue Jays, pitcher Roger Clemens. And now, tonight's starting lineup for the American League. First, the manager of the American League, from the Cleveland Indians, Mike Hargrove. Leading off, from the Cleveland Indians, outfielder Kenny Lofton. Batting second, from the Baltimore Orioles, second baseman Robbie Alomar. Robbie. Batting third, from the Seattle Mariners, outfielder Ken Griffey Jr. Batting fourth, from the Texas Rangers, outfielder Juan Gonzalez. Batting fifth, from the Cleveland Indians, first baseman Jim Thorne.
Hello, Jimmy.
Batting sixth, from the Seattle Mariners, shortstop Alex Rodriguez. Batting seventh, from the Texas Rangers, catcher Ivan Rodriguez. Batting eighth, from the Baltimore Orioles, third baseman Cal Ripken Jr.
First standing ovation.
That's the first time they had a chance to see Cal Ripken Jr. here at Coors Field, and they appreciate the things he's done over in the American League and in baseball.
And there's the starter, David Wells, from the Yankees.
Your 1998 American League All-Stars.
That is a mighty potent offensive lineup. The American League, noted for its offense, even more so than the National, puts out there for this All-Star game.
You know, it's interesting that the National League All-Stars have actually out-homered the American League All-Stars, and that is something that hasn't happened recently. American League, as you said, Gary, certainly noted for their home run power, but with Mark McGwire switching leagues, the power of balance went to the National League.
From the Philadelphia Phillies, Mark Anderson. The batting practice staff, from the Florida Marlins, Bruce Kim, Milt May, Tommy Sant, and Rich Donnelly. The coaches, from the Colorado Rockies, Don Baylor. From the Pittsburgh Pirates, Gene Lamont. And now, the National League All-Star team. From the Arizona Diamondbacks, outfielder Devon White. From the Atlanta Braves, catcher Javi Lopez. First baseman Andres Galarraga.
Former first baseman here with the Rockies up until this year.
Pitcher Tom Glavine. Selected to the team, but unable to play due to injury from the Chicago Cubs, outfielder Sammy Sosa. From the Cincinnati Reds, second baseman Brett Boone. From the Colorado Rockies, third baseman Benny Castillo. Outfielder Dante Bichette. From the Florida Marlins, shortstop Edgar Renteria. From the Houston Astros, outfielder Moises Alou. From the Los Angeles Dodgers, outfielder Gary Sheffield. pitcher Jeff Shaw. From the Milwaukee Brewers, second baseman Fernando Villa. From the Montreal Expos, pitcher Huguet Urbina. From the New York Mets, pitcher Rick Reed. From the Philadelphia Phillies, pitcher Kurt Schilling. From the Pittsburgh Pirates, catcher Jason Kendall. From the San Diego Padres, outfielder Greg Vaughn. Pitcher Kevin Brown. Pitcher Andy Ashby. Pitcher Trevor Hoffman. From the San Francisco Giants, pitcher Rob Nen. And now, tonight's starting lineup for the National League. First, the manager of the National League from the Florida Marlins, Jim Leyland. Leading off from the Houston Astros, second baseman Craig Biggio.
Have fun, dude.
Batting second from the San Diego Padres, outfielder Tony Greer.
Have fun, buddy. Have fun.
Batting third from the St. Louis Cardinals, first baseman Mark McGwire. Batting fourth from the San Francisco Giants, outfielder Barry Bonds.
Come on, buddy.
Batting fifth from the Atlanta Braves, third baseman Chipper Jones.
Have fun, Chipper. Come on.
Batting sixth from the New York Mets, catcher Mike Piazza. Batting seventh from your Colorado Rockies, outfielder Larry Walker. Batting eighth from the Atlanta Braves, shortstop Walt Weiss.
That is his son Brody recovering from an E. coli, a serious E. coli bacterial infection, flown out here by the owner of the Colorado Rockies so he could be here with his dad just out of the hospital this past weekend.
Batting ninth, warming up in the bullpen, the National League starting pitcher from the Atlanta Braves, Greg Maddux. Ladies and gentlemen, your 1998 National League All-Stars.
So there you go. Mark McGwire getting a great hand with that home run race he's going after, of course, and some wonderful things happen in this world on occasion, don't they?
Especially when you think about Walt Weiss and his son, just in time for him to come back and watch his dad in his first All-Star game.
Of the United States when they poured west, city of Denver, Colorado, in the Rockies. This ballpark located in the downtown area and in fact has had a tremendous effect in rejuvenating downtown. The boys clubs and girls clubs of America being recognized at this All-Star game, and one selected from one of the local boys and girls clubs, throwing out the first pitch. Frank Robinson, Hall of Famer, right there with him.
Yeah, 14-time All-Star as well for Frank Robinson, so he knows his way around an All-Star ballpark and All-Star festivities. There's the pitch, maybe a little low in the dirt, but handled neatly by Jason Kendall of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Ellis Clements, the name of the young man who threw out the first pitch here. And of course, lots of nations are indeed represented, not only among the fans here, but also among the players. 60 players selected, 30 on each roster. And Ken, this year 19 of the players, there are 63 because of injuries, come from foreign-born outside the United States, representing 8 countries.
And that represents an all-star record for players born outside of the United States participating in an all-star game. 19 of 63 players. And look at the rest of the numbers during the season. 20.3% of major leaguers will come outside of the United States or born outside of the U.S. and 34.8 major and minor leaguers representing 26 countries. So baseball indeed is becoming a worldwide spectacle.
A great international game, and Major League Baseball, recognizing that, is looking to expand its reach around the world as far as these major league players are concerned in their playing time. They may be playing games not only in the United States and Canada and Mexico, as games have already been played, regular season games. There may be games in other countries that count in Major League Baseball's regular season.
Andres Galarraga, of course, the big cat from Venezuela. You saw Rafael Palmeiro, who was born in Cuba, and Juan Gonzalez from Puerto Rico. So a great contingent of Latin American ball players who have been among the stars in major leagues for years.
They will be performing here tonight, and lots of talent. A couple of Rodriguez will be performing here in tonight's game. Shortstops around Major League Baseball, Ken, at this day and age, unbelievable talent.
You look at some of the shortstops here in the All-Star game. You got Rodriguez, and you have Derek Jeter, and you have Omar Vizquel from the Cleveland Indians from Venezuela.
There is Derek Jeter. Got a great hand when introduced here before this full house at Coors Field. And let's take a look at the starting lineup, brought to you by MasterCard for the American League. Kenny Lofton of Cleveland will be in left field. Roberto Alomar from the Orioles at second. Ken Griffey Jr. from Seattle in center. Juan Gonzalez of the Texas Rangers in right. Jim Thome of the Cleveland Indians at first base. Alex Rodriguez, Seattle at shortstop. Pudge Ivan Rodriguez, the catcher from the Texas Rangers. Cal Ripken Jr., the Baltimore Orioles Ironman at third base. And the New York Yankees' David Wells will make the start. And taking the field, the National League All-Star team. And this is, of course, their home field, playing on a National League park, that of the Colorado Rockies. Water fountains out there in the outfield put into this new ballpark, as a number of new ballparks have. And the starter, there just wasn't any question who'd start this game for the National League.
Well, you look at the numbers, 12-2. He's won his last 10 decisions, 19 ball games thus far this year, and that earned run average of 1.54. See the strikeouts and the walks, only 17 walks, 146 in the third innings. That's the best in the majors, and certainly one of the best controlled pitchers of all times. He's won 4 Cy Young Awards, 8 times he's won the Gold Glove. And to boot, he's hitting over 300 this year. A total package when you talk about a major league pitcher.
There are many who are saying we just ought to rename that award and make it the Young Maddox Award to the best pitcher in the league, because he's piling up numbers that are simply unheard of. But we'll wonder, and we'll see how he fares here in pitching in this ballpark. He's a ground ball pitcher if he can keep it down even in this yard.
Well, one thing that good pitchers usually have behind them is a solid defense. In the National League defensively tonight, certainly some of the best players in the game with the leather. Bonds, Walker, and Gwynn in the outfield. Walker, normally a right fielder, will play center field tonight. Jones, Weiss, Biggio, and McGuire in the infield. Mike Piazza doing the catching, and Greg Maddux on the mound for the National League.
Throw down to second by Piazza. We're ready to go. Mark McGuire, the man they came out to see yesterday in the home run derby, and we'll keep an eye on here tonight. All season long, wherever he goes, batting practice has become an actual problem for them. They've had to set rules about interviews and how many people can be around a cage, because everyone wants to see him. Ed Montague will be the umpire working the plate tonight from the National League. Darrell Cousins, Brian Gorman, Rick Reed, Rich Riker, and Tim McClellan, the umpiring crew for this All-Star game. And we are ready to go. Maddox out there to make the start. Kenny Lofton from the Cleveland Indians stands in with that .282 batting average. And we are underway and a strike taken. What would you expect from Maddox other than a first pitch strike?
And perfectly placed over the outside corner.
84 degrees, the official temperature at game time, and we've got mostly overcast skies at the moment. No wind at all blowing here at Coors Field in Denver. 1 ball, 1 strike count. You see the beautiful skies and the flags just laying against the poles. That one misses down low. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
And you also saw a sold-out crowd, and that's what they see during the regular season here in Denver. They sell out just about every game, leading the majors in attendance.
Lofton takes that one left field, and he's got a leadoff single off Maddox. Bonds up with it, will get it back in, and the speedster from the Indians is on at first base. So Maddox, who gives up very few leadoff hits in any inning, gives one up here to start the All-Star game.
And he gives it up to a hitter who has stolen 28 bases this year. A lot of speed when Kenny Lofton's at the top of the order. Pitch not quite to the corner, and Lofton's able to spank it the other way for the base hit. One thing you'll see with Barry Bonds chasing this ball, the outfielders here at Coors Field have to play very, very deep because the ball carries.
He's running. The throw down Piazza's not in time, and Lofton's got a stolen base. Kenny Lofton, along with the 28 steals that he has picked up on the season, caught only 7 times, and he's not caught there.
Well, if there is a weakness in Maddox's game, his ability to hold runners is not very good, and Piazza not known for throwing runners out, so a good situation for Lofton to try and steal it. He takes off on the first pitch.
Now Roberto Alomar with an early RBI chance in this game. Bunting instead to move him up. McGuire over, look out, covering Maddox, and he did not get there in time. It'll be an infield hit for Alomar. Over to third base goes Lofton, and the American League threatens here in the first inning.
Well, a good play by Alomar. First of all, he was just trying to move Lofton over to third base and give himself up. He gets the bunt down, and he gets a bonus here. He's going to get a base hit. Maddox a little late getting to the bag. Alomar with the great speed is going to beat it out for the base hit. So while trying to move the runner over to third, the American League comes up with a bonus, first and third, and nobody out.
Alomar batting from the left side, the advantage coming out of that box. So 2 hits, 2 batters against Maddox. And now Griffey coming up. The RBI opportunity for one of the big sluggers in this game is 35 home runs. Ken Griffey, one of those challenging, of course, the Maris mark. And the pitch is taken inside. Griffey with a huge chance here to start this game out with an RBI. He's got 79 during the regular season, second only to Juan Gonzalez, and runs batted in, and almost at that 300 mark of the break. Right off the end of the bat, cues it 1-1.
Well, yesterday we noticed that a lot of Hall of Famers were in town, Gary. A lot of festivals here in Denver, including Hank Aaron, who holds the all-time mark for home runs. They talk about the seasonal mark for homers. You might be looking at the man in future years that will break Hank Aaron's all-time record for homers. Griffey, the fastest or second fastest ever to get the 300 home runs.
Maddox, a guy it's tough to hit home runs off because he does keep it down. Runner goes at first, popped up first base side. Alomar coming back to first base. Dwyer in foul territory puts it away. So Griffey is retired. Griffey's now 8 for 19 in all-star appearances, and there's one away in the first.
I don't know if Mike Hargrove, the manager of the Indians, has told his team to be very aggressive. But we saw Lofton steal on the first pitch. We saw Alomar take off on the last pitch. There is Mike Hargrove, who has managed the American League in 2 of the last 3 years. Just to his left is Joe Torre, the manager of the New York Yankees, whose Yankees are having a phenomenal season. 61 wins and 20 losses.
They've got a chance to set an all-time mark in wins in Major League Baseball history that goes way back to the Cubs of 1906. Well, if anybody's going to get an RBI in this game, you expect it might be this man. 101 runs batted in, leading the majors in that department. His 26 home runs ranked 3rd. Gonzalez with tremendous power, 5th in slugging in the league. Runners at first and third, and 1 away. Maddox gets that breaking ball in the outside corner, 1-1.
Gary, you and I were talking before the game that hitters like Gonzalez, the great RBI hitters, they don't see men on base. They see dollar signs. That's how they make their living.
He's going to make a very nice living.
Yes, he will.
Not that he isn't now. He's got runners at first and third. Lofton the lead runner. Alomar at first base. And he takes it the other way, shooting it foul over the head of Mark McGwire. And a 1-ball 2-strike count on Gonzalez.
Going to take a look at the RBI leaders in the American League. Juan Gonzalez sitting on top with 101. Ken Griffey Jr., Jim Thome having a good year. Rafael Palmeiro in the last year of his contract having a good year, and Manny Ramirez, who was added to the All-Star team by his manager Mike Hargrove with 71 RBIs, maybe quietly having another very good season.
1-ball 2-strike count, 1 away. Runner goes again. Alomar taking off, fouled off again by Gonzalez. Remember, Gonzalez only the second major league player ever to come away with the 100 RBIs at the All-Star break. Hank Greenberg of Detroit with 103 back in 1935 when he did it. And Gonzalez on an absolute tear at the end. In fact, how many did he have in the last day? Didn't he have 3 or 4?
He had 2 2-run homers.
4 RBIs on the final game on Sunday, coming into the All-Star break to get over that 100 mark. 1-2 count on him here. Maddox looking for the strikeout, reaching, and again fouled off.
You know, the thing about Hank Greenberg back in 1935 with the 103 runs batted in, he did not make the All-Star team that year. The 2 players who were ahead of him were just Hall of Famers, Lou Gehrig and Jimmy Fox.
Can you imagine that? Having 100 RBIs the All-Star break and not making it. Gonzalez fighting off some tough pitches here by Greg Maddux, who lives on the corners. Maddux, fastball, curveball, and a real strong slider and a change, and he works them inside outside. Runner goes, broken bat. Maddux looks the runners back, makes the play at first and gets the second out. Maddux made sure Lofton did not take off, and Gonzalez goes back with just the bat handle.
First of all the pitches away to Gonzalez. You saw him foul him off down the right field line. He finally came in with a pitch on the inner half of the plate and will jam him and shatter his bat. The target's on the inner half. There's the broken bat. But Maddux didn't panic. He looked at second. Alomar was going. He just turned, looked at Lofton at third, and then threw over the first base for the out. That's what you call a good fielding pitcher who has won 8 consecutive Gold Gloves. No panic, although he was looking for a double play. Here's the look. There's no play there. Holds the runner at third, then throws the first. 360 spin. What a move.
And now he's got a chance to get out of this inning after the first 2 base runners were on. And runners at first and third, nobody out, 2 down. And Jim Thome fouls the first pitch back. You talk about a guy who's having a season. You just take a look at these numbers and the rankings for him. 6th in homers, 3rd in RBIs, 7th in average, 2nd in slugging percentage. I mean, across the board, you'd be hard pressed to find any player in Major League Baseball who's having an all-around better year than Thome is for Hargrove, who of course is the skipper here of this All-Star team and the skipper of the Indians, the team that Jim Thome plays for.
Jim Thome's the big bat in that lineup, although Cleveland does have a very good hitting club. But he's the type of guy who's going to drive in 100 runs, score near 100, walk over 100 times, and probably strike out 100 too. But the fact is that he produces a lot of runs.
Strike out a lot of games, but he'll give you a lot of offense along the way. Maddux missed just outside with that. 2-ball 1-strike count.
This is the second All-Star game for Jim Thome. He was in the home run hitting contest last year in Cleveland, didn't hit any. But yesterday he hit more home runs in the upper deck here in right field than anybody.
He relaxed yesterday. That home run derby in his own home field, I think, was a little tough for him. A lot of pressure. 2-1 delivery, and Maddux misses down low. So Thome's got a hitter's count here. 3-1, 2 down, 2 on in scoring position here in the first inning.
I think one of the keys is we're hitting against Greg Maddux. Even though you have a hitter's count here at 3-1, you can't really look for anything in the middle of the plate because he's just not going to give in. He's going to make a pitcher's pitch or else walk Jim Thome.
Thome's 0 for 1 in his only All-Star at bat. And he got one on the inside corner. Nasty pitch, 3-2.
He had a big swing at it. Remember what he did with Juan Gonzalez after he fell behind 3-1. He finally came in with a pitch, his best fastball on the inner half. He does the same thing with Jim Thome. Everything had been away until that point. Now as a hitter, you're thinking, what's he going to do 3-2? Is he going to come back in here or is he going to go back away? So from a hitter standpoint, you're kind of confused at this point.
Maddux has 115 strikeouts, 5th in the league. Fouls that one back and 1 away, 3-2. Maddux has such great pinpoint control that trying to guess on him is almost impossible as far as location is concerned. You just can't. He rarely throws you a pitch. He just wants the couple of inches on the outer part and the couple of inches on the inner part of the plate. That's all he works with. The middle of it, you just never see a pitch there. 3-2 count. Lofton at third, Alomar at second base, and he walked him to load him up.
Well, you might call that a strategic base on balls. There was a base open, and now he'll move to a right-handed hitter with Alex Rodriguez coming to the plate. Now with a base open, he can be careful. This pitch is going to be away, and Thome will not chase it. He has a good eye. Remember I said he walks it over 100 times a year, so he'll take the walk and set it up for Rodriguez.
So Maddox with the bases loaded. We told you he walks only 1 per 9 innings, so there's the walk. Lofton, Alomar, and Thome are the base runners. And the first pitch fouled back by Alex Rodriguez. With the bases loaded and 2 down, and a huge chance here early on. Generally against Maddox, if you do not get to him early in a game, you do not get to it. The first inning in his career has been the one where he has given up the most runs. And then he just settles in and becomes almost untouchable. Rodriguez, the 0-1 pitch to him on the outside corner.
And I think a reason for that, Gary, is because Maddox, with different umpires, he's trying to find out what the umpires will give him on that outside corner. Especially when he has his own catcher, Javi Lopez. You're looking at Ed Montague, the umpire tonight, who's umpiring in his 3rd All-Star game. And he's from the National League, of course, because this is a National League park.
0-2 the count. Bases loaded and 2 down. Strike 3 in the outside corner. That's where he works. That's where Greg Maddux makes a living. Rodriguez, a strikeout victim, no runs, a couple of hits. The American League leaves the bases loaded. Baseball International's presentation of the 1998 All-Star Game is brought to you by MasterCard. Gary Thorne, Ken Singleton, and our crew, great to have you with us here in Denver, wherever you are around the world. Delighted to bring you this fabulous event. Such a great piece of entertainment as well as great baseball. Let's take a look at the lineup here, brought to you by MasterCard. For the National League, Craig Biggio of Houston at second base. Tony Gwynn, right field, batting second from San Diego. Mark McGwire of the Cardinals at first. Barry Bonds from the Giants in left. Chipper Jones of Atlanta at third. Mike Piazza of the Mets doing the catching. Larry Walker, this is his home park. He's from Canada. Walt Weiss, the shortstop, and Greg Maddux, the starter.
Here's a look at David Wells, who authored a perfect game for the Yankees back on May the 17th against the Minnesota Twins at Yankee Stadium. He said the fans were so riled up in the late innings they made him nervous, but he got through it.
Hard to believe anybody could make him nervous, or any group. 33-year-old right-hander, second All-Star selection, first time as a starter. 11-2 at 3.75 ERA coming into the break, and he works here to Craig Biggio, one of the game's most patient and outstanding leadoff hitters, getting on, and that's why he's #1 in the National League in runs, with 75 coming into the All-Star break. 1-0 delivery to him, fastball for a strike.
Biggio is also one of the most durable players in Major League Baseball. He's played 468 consecutive games, which is the 2nd longest streak. How many for Rip? 2,556.
A couple of lifetimes, and Craig will have a chance to catch it.
Yes, he will.
That's all it'll take. Believe in reincarnation, you got a shot at it. Wells ahead on the count here. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's amazing. 468 on your left and 2,556 consecutive games on your right.
#1 on the right, #2 on the left. Wells with a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Out of Torrance, California, where he was born, now lives in Florida. Wells delivers. Biggio reaches, pops it up, no play on it, and the count will stay at 1-2.
Well, Biggio, a member of the Houston Astros, who are not so quietly leading the Central Division in the National League, really having a good year. Biggio, Jeff Bagwell, and Moises Alou is on the All-Star team this year. First time for him with the Houston Astros, and they're getting some pretty good pitching. The manager, Larry Durkert, doing a good job.
They may be the sleeper team when it comes to the postseason, which we also will be covering. Major League Baseball International at the postseason in the World Series. Wells got him. He's got a magnificent changeup, and he got one right there. Biggio retired.
Well, David Wells relied on his defense in that perfect game at Yankee Stadium, although he did strike out 11 Minnesota Twins. A great outfield. Lofton, normally a center fielder, playing left field tonight. Griffey's only won 9 Gold Gloves. Juan Gonzalez in right, Ripken at third, Rodriguez at short, Alomar at second, Tomey at first, and Ivan Pudge Rodriguez, who has won 6 consecutive Gold Gloves catching.
And Tony Gwynn, 14th All-Star game for one of the game's greatest hitters ever. Gwynn hitting with that 329 number, 2,874 hits, trying to become the 22nd player to reach that 3,000 plateau, and he will. Wells gets him to pop that one up to left field. Kenny Lofton, generally a center fielder, was asked, do you want to play center or left? He said, I don't care. So he's in left field and Griffey's in center.
He also said yesterday he hasn't played left field very often.
2 down. Mark McGwire. Now the fans, look at the players. Look at the players in the dugouts right now on both sides. They are all up on the top step on the railing to watch Mark McGwire hit, including Sammy Sosa, a home run hitter in his own right. 2 down, nobody on. And a sea of flash bulbs goes off on the first swing.
You know, this is an interesting matchup because McGwire leads all of baseball in home runs. David Wells second in the American League in giving up home runs.
He'll keep the pitch up where sluggers can get at it. That one away. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mark McGwire. 10th All-Star game for McGwire.
The thing about Wells, though, most of the home runs he's given up have been solo shots.
Keep you in a game.
Yes, they will. And the way the Yankees score, that's why he has a record of 11-2.
Broken bat, ground ball to short. Easy play made by Rodriguez over the first. McGwire is retired, and Wells sets him down 1-2-3, using only 10 pitches to get that done. No score after 1. From the Texas Rangers, Ivan Rodriguez.
Well, he also swings a pretty good bat. He is second in the American League in hitting at this point. No catcher has ever led the American League in hitting, but Rodriguez's forte, you mentioned, the Gold Gloves.
And a great percentage at throwing out base stealers, #1 in baseball.
Almost 7 out of every 10 who attempt to steal, he throws them out. And that's not even counting the pickoffs that he's had at first and second base.
The major league average is like 28%. That's how far ahead of that he is. Greg Maddux comes back out on the mound, a second inning, and probably will only work 2 innings in this game. We'll see a lot of pitchers here in this All-Star game. Juan Rodriguez with a big first half, takes the pitch up high, and Maddux falls behind here. 2 balls and no strikes. Rodriguez, 7th All-Star appearance. Maddux, his 7th, and he's struggling a bit here in these 2 innings with control. Ripken and Wells supposed to follow, and that one's to right field for a base hit. Tony Gwynn. Rodriguez on with a single, 3rd hit off Maddux.
Well, that's the thing that Rodriguez does so well. He uses the whole field. Anytime you're batting .350, you hit the ball all over. And here at Coors Field, the fences are pretty far away, but with the thin air, the ball really travels.
You see the asymmetrical design. 347 left, 390 power alley, 415 to center, 375 and 350 on the right side. And there's a conversion factor that came into play when this ballpark was built. Cal Ripken Jr. with a runner at first, ground ball hitting to second. Biggio, Weiss, 2.
Well, Maddux, one of the things he does well to get himself out of trouble, pick up double play balls and ground ball. Ripken spanks this one to second for Biggio, and he lays it right there for Walt Weiss to turn over. Easy double play ball as the National League now with 2 outs and nobody on. Here's a pitch right in the middle of the plate, and Ripken tops it, and there you have it, easily turned for the double play.
Walt Weiss, formerly played right here, and a big fan favorite still, even though he is now with Atlanta. 2 down, and David Wells will get a chance at the plate. And Maddox came inside on him. They want to know if he went around, and no, says Rick Reed at third. And you see Wells looking out at Maddox, and Jeter, the shortstop of the American League, a little smile.
Well, of course, in the American League, the pitchers don't get to hit very often, only in interleague play in National League parks. And Wells does have a hit this year. He got a hit in Atlanta against the Braves.
And he hits this one to second base. Not bad. Making the play, Biggio. No runs, a base hit. Nobody left on. Maddox, 25 pitches in the first inning, 6 in the second. It's scoreless.
With 3 shows a day, it can get a little stressful around here. Luckily, we've got a guy who lightens things up a bit. I like to think of him as our SportsCenter doctor. When Kenny and I return on SportsCenter, we will take a closer look at... After all, laughter is the best medicine.
At any one moment in time, someone is winning, losing, struggling, crying. Where the world comes together to celebrate the universal language of sports. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Spent about a half hour with him today. And there it goes! There it goes! Number 34! Braves went to Sada Dick. And O'Donnell's with another remarkable play. They might give 3. Wow! Start inning number 2, and Moyer right back to the plate. Swung on, looped into left field. That is going to be caught by Rodriguez. An amazing catch by Ellie. Tremendous play.
This one hit deep by O'Neill. The center field. Jones back at the wall. Oh! And makes a great catch. And that great shot from overhead at tonight's All-Star game, providing our international audience with these great pictures. The Bud 1 airship. This Bud's for you. Coors Field, beautiful. We go to the bottom half of the second inning, no score. American League 3 hits, unable to get it done despite leaving them loaded in the first inning, and David Wells making the final out in the second.
Well, David Wells, well, I wouldn't say he's hustling down the line. He kids with Big Mac. I don't know if I'd be messing with Big Mac too much.
Wouldn't hit him too hard in the chest. No. Wells will stay on and work another inning. And Bonds, Barry Bonds from the San Francisco Giants. 8th time appearing in an All-Star game with a .283 batting average here at the break. 18 home runs. Fouls that one back into the screen.
Gary, we talked about the control of Greg Maddux. David Wells, in the month of June, walked 1 man. That was Robin Ventura of the White Sox, and that was in early June. So once he got that 1 walk out of the way, he didn't walk anybody for the rest of the month.
Yeah, he's got the same number of walks surrendered in the first half of the season as Maddox. I mean, I don't think a lot of people would realize that.
Another oddity in numbers, Wells has given up more home runs than walks this year.
19.
Yeah.
Second most home runs surrendered in the American League with 19 given up. Bonds here with a 1-1 count. Strike on the inside corner to Barry Bonds. Ed Montague looks like he's got a pretty good size strike zone width-wise for this game.
Wells capable of working up and down, in and out. Both corners with his fastball is his best pitch. Spots it well to both corners.
Bonds will take that one down low. Bonds the only player to average 30-30 home runs and stolen bases over a span of 10 years, averaging that. No one else has ever done that. Barry Bonds with those tremendous wheels along with that great power. 2-2 delivery to him. Fastball by Wells, misses up high. 3-2. Kenny, you surprised Wells is pitching here another inning?
You know, the way they use pitchers nowadays in all-star games, and I think it's in deference to the other managers and teams, because they don't want to use up the pitchers or be accused of using, say, David Wells, Mike Hargrove, because the Indians and the Yankees will meet shortly after the all-star break.
And Wells, you said, has had a bit of a shoulder problem.
Yeah, it's bothered him from time to time this year, although he pitched through it and has pitched very effectively.
And if Hargrove uses it one more inning, Joe Torre will attack him. Because they're both in the dugout. That's inside, so Wells lost it. A leadoff walk surrendered to Barry Bonds. We knew as soon as we talked about how he never walks anybody that guaranteed he would. Chipper Jones coming up.
Chipper Jones, first time he's been elected the starter in the All-Star game. This is his third All-Star game, and he's the #3 hitter in the Atlanta Braves order and their anchor. You can see the numbers for Chipper Jones at the halfway point. Third in the National League with 69 runs scored. He scores them and he drives them in.
He is an outstanding player. Jones is a switch hitter, batting right here with Bonds with that speed on at first base. Wells delivers that great changeup. That's his out pitch right there. He's got one of the best changeups in the game.
I think what you'll see here is they say that at altitude with the thin air that the breaking balls don't break very well. You'll see Maddox or whoever in the ball game for the National League, as well as David Wells in the American League, changing speeds with the good changeups. It looks like they're going to throw another one right here.
0-1 count on Chipper Jones. Switch hitters batting .317 right-handed and .306 from the left side, but all of his home runs, all 21, have come from the left side of the plate.
And when you talk to Chipper about that, he says he feels he has just as much power right-handed, but he's a different hitter. He holds his bat in a different position. His hands are much closer to his body as a right-handed hitter, and it doesn't enable him to get that long extended swing as he does left-handed. Last year he hit only 1 home run right-handed, and he had well over 20.
That natural left-handed home run swing is what he has. That graceful, beautiful, long swing you see left-handers have. That's what he's got when he bats from the other side of the plate. But he hits the ball hard this way. Good line drive hitter both ways. Fouls that one off, and the count's evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Chipper Jones was the #1 pick overall by the Braves back in 1990 in the amateur draft, and you can see the swing as he couldn't get extended and he fouls it back. And the Braves drafted him out of high school in Florida, and he's come on to be one of the best players, not only in the National League, but in baseball.
Third All-Star appearance, first as a starter for Jones, and a grounder up the middle. Rodriguez, Alomar, Tomei. He gets the ground ball in turn 2. Bonds taken out at second, and Jones at first, and just like that, 2 away.
Well, they call the double play the pitcher's best friend. Maddox has one. Now Wells has a best friend in tonight's ball game as Chipper Jones bounces into the double play.
And Wells gave it that little double clutch after he got it.
Here's a look at it again. High fastball that Jones gets on top of. This is perfectly turned. First of all, it was a 2-hopper for Rodriguez over the Alomar and then on the Tomei. Tailor-made double play.
So Piazza comes up, and he'll be swinging for the downs. 2 home runs and a double in 12 All-Star at-bats for the former Dodger, former Marlin catcher. Played for Florida just 1 week this year after that trade from the Dodgers, and then moved on to the New York Mets. And a towering pop-up. Shallow center field. Alomar, the second baseman, and he's got it. So in a ball game here at Coors Field, Mile High Stadium, with all these home run hitters, just what we thought. It's a pitcher's duel. No score. It's in Colorado in the backdrop here in Denver. Welcome back, everybody, to Coors Field for the 69th playing of the All-Star Game, Major League Baseball. No score. 3 hits for the American League. National League has not yet dented that hit column. Where can you find the latest stats and participate in live chats? Well, it's at MajorLeagueBaseball.com, the place for live game audio and video highlights, plus loads of information on all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Catch up on all the latest baseball news, and you can drop us an email if you'd like on how you're enjoying tonight's game. We'd love to hear from you. That's MajorLeagueBaseball.com. What a sight to see.
Speaking of what a sight, wasn't that a beautiful view of the Rockies just west of Denver? Denver lays on the high plains, just at the foot of the Rocky Mountains, and this is the first game ever played in the Mountain Time Zone. First All-Star game ever played in the Mountain Time Zone.
Tommy Glavine has come on for his teammate Greg Maddux. Glavine, the 32-year-old left-hander, in fact the winningest left-hander in baseball over the last 10 years with 151 wins. He and Maddux form the big 1-2 punch as they have a combined 24-5 mark for the Braves so far this year. And Glavine working here as we go to Kenny Lofton at the top of the order, who singled his first time up off Maddux. Maddux worked 2 innings, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, and a strikeout. Left-handers inside, jackknifing away Lofton.
Well, these two were teammates last year. Lofton spent a year in the National League with the Atlanta Braves. There was a deal just before spring training of last season. Lofton became a free agent at the end of the year and then re-signed with the Cleveland Indians, who had traded him to Atlanta.
Go figure that one out. It's like a baseball team actually admitting a mistake. We shouldn't have done that in the first place, so come on back. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Tommy Glavine broke the bat that time. That hurt. That sent some buzzing bees.
Well, you look at what Glavine has done in All-Star games. This will be his 6th appearance, and that's not a good record. Certainly not the same type of record he has put on the board during the regular season. You mentioned Maddux, Glavine, John Smoltz, Denny Nagel, the big 4 in the Atlanta rotation, and they have a rookie, Kevin Millwood, the 5th starter, who's won 10 games.
He's won more games in that role than anyone else in the 90s. He's tried to fill in on that Atlanta staff. Inside again, and Kenny Lofton is on. Remember, he stole a base after he picked up that single off Maddux. So a leadoff man on in the 3rd again for the American League. Alomar coming up. There's that great view. There's still snow up there on the top of those mountains. Snow all year round, actually, at the highest peaks of the Rockies.
Well, if Denver is a mile high in elevation, imagine how high those mountains are out there to the west.
It's a long way down on skis. Alomar swings and misses. Switch hitter, 327 right, 274 left for Roberto Alomar. 9th All-Star appearance. You see that 238 average in All-Star games. Lofton being held by McGuire at first base. Glavine's got a good move over there. Outside corner. Tommy Glavine, like Maddux, lives on the corners. He'll work in and out, up, down, but rarely puts the ball over the middle of the plate.
Roberto and his brother Sandy could claim, well, our dad was an all-star. Why shouldn't we be all-stars too?
Absolutely.
Dad Sandy Sr., an all-star with the California Angels back in 1970. And how proud must he be? His sons have been all-stars together 15 times.
It's a great tribute to all the teaching and work that Dad did and time put into the talent of the youngsters, now grown men themselves. Tommy Glavine, fastball changeup pitcher, ahead on the count here, 0-2 on Alomar. Lofton not going, off the glove of Piazza, knocks that one down. No room there to take off. Tough to build up that lead against Tommy Glavine staring at you. Glavine will use that slide short step to make a throw over there, and he'll step off and throw, and he'll get it there in a hurry. 1-2 to Alomar. Jammed him, stays there, to ball and 2 strikes.
There's been some talk in Baltimore that Alomar and along with Rafael Palmeiro, who are both in the last years of their contracts, might be traded before the end of this year, so the Orioles would be able to get some prospects for them or some other players and build on their future. There's Rafael Palmeiro, had a good outing in the home run hitting contest yesterday.
1-2 delivery away. The New York Mets, Kenny, have been mentioned as one of the teams possibly for a trade. The trouble is with the Mets, if the deal was made, Baltimore would get veteran players back rather than youngsters probably.
Also, the Atlanta Braves have been mentioned, and the Braves might be able to fill the bill with younger players or younger prospects from their organization.
Reaching, foul back again. Alomar is a tough batter to strike out. He has drawn 40 walks and has struck out only 42 times in the first half of the season. So if you can keep the walks up ahead of the strikeouts and neither being too high, you're in pretty good shape. And Alomar is just a tough stick. He fights off tough pitches and then tries to get one to hit. 2-2, no score, third inning. Massachusetts native Tommy Glavine jammed him and got the big pop-up. Pop-ups too, as Kenny told me, go higher here than home runs. And he's out of there. Biggio the play. That'll retire Alomar. What did we decide the differential was?
About 10% further than at sea level. So a ball that's hit 300 feet at sea level will go 330 feet here in Colorado.
Pop-ups, you get the same kind of effect. Balls going up into the air go a little higher.
You see, I notice it when you walk upstairs. You get tired faster.
I didn't want to talk about that with you because I was more tired than you were. Ken Griffey Jr. up. He popped out his first time up and takes a strike on the outside corner. Lofton still on at first base.
I think this is the city where escalators were invented.
And with just cause. 421 all-star average for Ken Griffey Jr. Pitch taken down low. With Maddox coming out of the ball game after pitching 2, we have had only one pitcher go 3 innings in an all-star game in the 90s, and that was Greg Maddox back in 1994. It used to be pitchers went 3 innings regularly, at least the starters of all-star games, but not anymore.
Well, like I said, in deference to the other managers and the pitchers that they have in these games now, who I think pitchers have gotten more expensive too, so they don't want the wear and tear.
Don't want a pitcher hurt. That one taken away. 2 ball 1 strike count from Glavine.
Griffey Jr. during his career, he's had over 25 million all-star votes. 4 million this year.
Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. One of those people who now all you got to say is Junior and you know who it is. He's got a gapper here off Tommy Glavine. First and third will be the setup on the single picked up by Griffey. Walker got it back in, and once again the American League threatening now. First and third, 1 down in this scoreless game in the 3rd inning.
Well, at this point it looks like that leadoff walk to Kenny Lofton might come back and haunt Tom Glavine. There's the follow through on that picture perfect swing of Ken Griffey Jr. The line drive towards right center. When you look at the outfielders here, they play very, very deep. And a lot of players feel that the blue pits hurt the pitchers almost as much as the home run balls and the extra base hits, because the outfielders and the infielders are so far apart, the balls fall in. Here's Lofton, realizes right away that it's a base hit, and he knows there's nobody going to stop him from going to third base. Makes it easily.
Leadoff batter now has been on all 3 innings for the American League. Trying to score first here in this game. Turned that one over, went away from the right-handed hitter Gonzalez, who grounded out his first time up. Just his 2nd all-star appearance. You've got to be able to hang off that pitch from Tommy Glavine to hit him. He has a screwball effect on a pitch he turns over that goes down and away from right-handed batters. There it is again.
And like Maddox before him, they're very effective at keeping the ball away and getting ground balls. Tom Glavine, the ground ball double play is his forte. Leads the National League in that category. So when a lot of pitchers go for strikeouts in situation, he goes for the double play ball.
Infield stays back with 1 down, looking for 2 right here. Gonzalez, 2-strike pitch to him, and went a little further that time, just seeing if he'd reach for it. He would not, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, with Gonzalez having that great year with the RBIs, over 101 at the All-Star break, you know, one thing that might come into play now, in the past he's been on the disabled list quite a few times and it's been injury prone. He's going to have to stay healthy to break that record.
Jammed him with a high fastball, shallow right field. Biggio, runner not tagging, and that's a base running mistake in an all-star game. No matter what, Lofton should have been back tagging up rather than coming down the line. Not that he would have gone, but not to tag up in that situation, that's a mistake. 2 down. Good play by Biggio, because Tony Gwynn was not going to get to that ball.
As I said, the outfielders have to play deep and respect the power. As we watch Lofton coming down the line, now he sees that the ball's not very deep. He goes back to third, and he will touch it, but you can see the ball was already on its way home.
So runners on at first and third, and here's Jim Thome, Cleveland Indians first baseman, and he takes that pitch down low for a ball. For Thome in the game, he drew a walk off Maddox. See his second All-Star appearance and the 0 for 1 in his previous occasions. Lofton, Griffey the base runners. Thome towering pop up left field. Bonds drifting over. No wind here blowing that ball. He's got it. So again, the American League gets them on, but they can't get them home against Tommy Glavine. American League is already 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Two of the game's outstanding managers, Mike Hargrove, the Cleveland Indians, Joe Torre on the right of the New York Yankees. Hargrove the manager here, and here comes the Rocket. 7th time to an All-Star game, over the 3,000 mark in strikeouts. Numbers he's put up so far this season, and he will face Larry Walker, a hometown favorite of the Rockies.
Walker, who became the MVP here last year with the Colorado Rockies, had an outstanding season. Underwent elbow surgery in the offseason.
And is getting married tomorrow to add to those stats. The first Canadian-born MVP. Wasn't tough to choose a day to get married. It's the only day off. 331, 6th best. He is second in doubles with 30. And foul back. And here at Coors, we have not had a ball even close to going out of this yard. We've had only a couple that have even been hit hard. Larry Walker can do that.
They say that good pitching will stop good hitting, and we've seen some good pitching so far.
Roger Clemens only going to work 1 inning by agreement. They decided that before the All-Star game. He didn't want to go more than that because of the innings that he's thrown. 2-1 delivery to Walker. Fastball, foul back into the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Active career leaders in strikeouts. You can see Roger just recently crossing the 3,000 strikeout mark. Did that against the Florida Marlins. Mark Langston, Dennis Eckersley, Randy Johnson, and David Cohn. I guess to make that list, you got to be a veteran pitcher, don't you?
You do. And he is. Clemens again, foul back. How about the fact that the man he struck out first, the #1 strikeout, is here?
The manager of the Cleveland Indians. May 15th, 1984, Mike Hargrove. Go sit down.
Go sit down and be the first of 3,002 who will join you. Misses with that one. A 3-ball, 2-strike count on Walker. The 11th pitcher in history to record 3,000 strikeouts, the Rocket. Roger Clemens along with Boston, now with Toronto. And Walker draws a free pass.
Well, Larry Walker, complete ball player, has the ability to steal bases, and for a big guy, he's one of the best base runners in baseball. Years I was working Montreal broadcast when Walker was up in Montreal with the Expos. I never saw him thrown out taking an extra base.
Walt Weiss, what a hand he received when introduced. There's Brody Weiss, his 3.5-year-old son, and his wife Terry on hand here for this game. As we said, Walter's son, who you just saw, had a serious E. coli bacterial infection that shut down his kidneys. He was in the hospital in a critical condition. Weiss missed games with Atlanta. The child recovered, came home over this past weekend, and the Colorado Rockies owner sent a jet to Atlanta so Weiss could get here with his family, so Weiss could play in this, his first All-Star game. So a very emotional last couple of months here for Walt Weiss, and even more so here. 0-2 count.
There's the owner of the Colorado Rockies, Jarek McMorris. And Walt Weiss spent 4 years with the Colorado Rockies and was a big fan favorite. And I think one of the reasons why the Rockies are not performing very well because Walt Weiss has left along with the big cat, Andres Galarraga.
2 big losses helping Atlanta. That one punched to left field. That's going to fall in for a base hit for Walt Weiss. First hit for the National League. Julie Croteau's got the starter of this game for the American League. Julie.
Thanks, Gary. David, Maddox coming inside on you, trying to establish the inside corner. I think he thought you were disrespecting him a little bit.
He's dogged me big time. You know, I was sitting fastball, threw me a cutter, and I didn't know what to do. I just was bailing to get out of there. I'll leave it there. I was bailing, yeah.
Now, second All-Star game, but this time you started the game. How did it feel?
It felt great. You know, I was really nervous out there. But, you know, just to get through that, get through the first hitter, then your nerves have calmed down a little bit. But, you know, it was a strikeout, so that made me feel a little bit better. Made me feel a little inferior out there. Just, you know, I could get by anybody.
Now, the Yankees are having a tremendous season this year. You think they can keep it up?
I sure hope so. You know, we've got the talent, and we've got a great bunch of guys over there who just play the game the way it's supposed to be played. Nobody tries to do too much, and you know, and that's what you got to do. We play fundamental baseball, and no ego trips over there. So that's why I think that we've been so successful.
Well, thank you very much, Gary.
Julie, thanks very much. And you saw Tommy Glavine helping his own cause. He's a great bunter. 8 sacrifice bunts on the season, and he lays one down here to move 2 runners up.
Well, you heard David Wells speak of the fundamental baseball played by the Yankees this year. This is fundamental. When a pitcher comes up with a chance to help himself out, move runners along, Tom Glavine among the best, along with teammate Greg Maddux. That's how they win so many games. When their turn comes up to hit, they can swing the bat a little bit, help themselves out with base hits. But when it comes time to get runners across and move them along on the bases, they're just about automatic.
With Biggio up, the infield's being drawn in here by Mike Hargrove. No score, 3rd inning. And the Rockets' pitch is fouled back by Biggio, who struck out his first time up. So Biggio gets the RBI opportunity and gets the help of the drawn-in infield, where a hard-hit ground ball has a better chance of going through.
Look at your screen. You see the drawn-in infielders just along the grass there, and look how far back the outfielders are. There's plenty of room between the two. Any bloopers certainly going to fall in.
Drawn-in infield always an advantage to the batter. Mike Hargrove feeling apparently this is going to be a very tight ball game scoring-wise. He's going to go at it right here defensively and try and cut off a run with only 1 away. Walker's on at 3rd. Weiss is on at 2nd base. Biggio gets the RBI chance. Clemens pitches inside and hit him. That brushed him. Always one of the leaders in being hit by pitches. 15 times coming into the All-Star break, and the reason is he crowds that plate. He's right on the corner.
Here's a look at watch the back elbow. You mentioned crowding. He couldn't get out of the way, barely grazed him, but he's headed to first base, and now the bases are loaded. That's why he wears that guard on his front arm. He's been hit so many times. He and his teammate Jeff Bagwell.
Bases loaded, and what a matchup. Tony Gwynn, 13th All-Star appearance, not anywhere near the average that he has for a career put up in All-Star games. He's got the sacks full here, and a strike on the inside corner to him as Tony Gwynn gets the opportunity for the National League to put them on the board.
Well, you have a pitcher that struck out over 3,000 men in his career, and you have a hitter that struck out 11 times this season.
And that's the norm for Tony Gwynn.
It's just very hard to strike out. He uses one of the smallest bats in baseball, very short, maybe 33 inches long, 29 ounces, but he uses it like a baton. He can hit the ball anywhere.
340 career average. Ground ball up the middle, and it's off the glove of Alomar. 1 run is scored. Walker in. Weiss will score, and it's a 2-0 lead. Tony Gwynn on a ground ball off Roberto Alomar.
Well, fans in San Diego have seen this many, many times, and you know, we've talked about how the fly balls and the line drives go that much quicker here and much further. Well, the ground balls are quicker too, because the altitude, while the ball is still hit on the ground, the ball comes off the bat faster. And that's why Alomar can only get a glove on it, as the ball will carry him off of his glove. And they might have turned 2 if he comes up with it, but the ball will head into center field for a base hit, 2-run score, and Biggio will go all the way to 3rd. Alomar, who had won 6 consecutive Gold Gloves until last year when Chuck Knobloch won it in the American League.
Now mano against mano right here. This is power against power. Roger Clemens against Mark McGwire. McGwire grounded out his first time up. Tony Gwynn credited with a single and 2 RBIs. 1st and 3rd. 1 down. That's a home run cut.
Whoa.
Fastball pitch.
Man. And when you're hitting, you think, well, I'm not going to get a pitch like that again. He knows he had a good pitch to hit and fouled it back.
These two have matched up a number of times, with Mark McGwire playing in the American League for the Oakland A's against Clemens when he was with Boston. 1-1 count. Clemens wanted that call, didn't get it.
So did Rodriguez behind the plate. You saw after he caught the ball, he kind of held it for a while before he threw it back to Clemens. He thought that was a called strike.
He's talking right now to Ed Montague, the home plate umpire, but not turning around. First and third, only one away. McGwire takes the strike. That's a make good call right there. 2-2.
There's also a pretty good slider down and away. And you hear the reaction of the fans here at Coors Field. They want to see McGwire swing the bat, and they also want to see him ahead on the count.
No matter who they cheer for during the regular season, there isn't one person here who doesn't want to see him hit a home run about 600 feet. 2-2 delivery, foul back as Roger Clemens jammed him that time. 2-2.
Well, Clemens made another good pitch after down and away, up and in. The Rocket is not just a power pitcher, just blows the ball by everybody. He's a combination of power and finesse, control to the corners, and that's how you strike out over 3,000 men.
Mark McGwire, 37 home runs, 268 at bats, won every 7.24, the best ever in a season. Clemens wins the battle. Mark McGwire, strikeout victim.
You know, one reason why you have so many home runs, these hitters have really jumped all over mediocre pitching during the regular season. And there's a lot of it with expansion, and the pitching has been diluted. But they're not going to see much mediocre pitching here tonight. These are the best pitchers in the game. And that's why pitchers are able to hold down hitters like Mark McGwire, make good, tough pitches on them.
And the fastball taken inside by Bonds, who drew a walk his first time up. 2 runs in, a leadoff walk to Larry Walker, and a single by Walt Weiss. They have both scored as Tony Gwynn got a base hit after Tommy Glavine set up the opportunity with a sacrifice bunt. Down the left field line, Kenny Lofton at the wall. It's deep, and it's still here. That's how a ball carries here. That sounded and looked like a regular routine fly ball, yet it took him right to the wall. He thought maybe, but no. The National League, a 2-0 lead on the single by Tony Gwynn here in our 69th annual All-Star game. Did you know the Atlanta Braves first baseman Andres Galarraga loves to paint when he's not on the field? Mets catcher Mike Piazza sings, plays drums. Well, you would if you watched Baseball Max. Each week we bring you highlights from the American and National Leagues, along with player profiles, instruction, and much more. Baseball Max. Check your local listings for the time in your country.
Here's a look at Barry Bonds out in left field, and this is the final out of last inning, which kind of surprised me. Bonds hits it. I thought it was a routine fly ball to left field, and he's hoping that it's going to go out of the ballpark. It didn't quite make it. As Kenny Lofton went back to the wall, Lofton kept retreating and retreating. There's that extra 10% we talked about.
Wow. Alex Rodriguez leading it off here against Tommy Glavine, working his second inning. Glavine gave up 2 hits in the third. The American League's not been able to get that big hit so far in this ball game to get people home.
You watch Glavine pitching. Maddox before him. Complete packages. Veteran pitchers know how to get people out. I think the way you go after trying to hit Tom Glavine is hit the ball back through the middle or to the opposite field. He's going to keep the ball away, away, away from you and make it difficult to pull.
Alex Rodriguez of the Mariners, just 22 years old, takes that pitch away, and the count goes to 1-2. You don't have patience against the likes of Maddox and Glavine, you don't hit. Pure and simple. 1-2 delivery. Down to third, fouled off to hold the count.
You mentioned just 22 years old, but already his 3rd All-Star game.
Not amazing.
No, that is amazing.
314 career average already for him. 310 coming into this All-Star game.
But look at Mike Piazza's glove outside, and if you see he tries to pull the ball, you're not going to get anything but a slow roller to the left side.
1-2 delivery, chased the high one that time and fouled it off. 1-2. You would think now you got like Mike Piazza catching here is going to have to hit against Tommy Glavine later in the year, that a catcher getting to work these Atlanta pitchers would get an advantage. No All-Star catcher that's caught these Atlanta pitchers, Glavine, Maddox in particular, has come away doing any better than anyone else. Because even though you know it's coming, you still can't hit it.
You can't do anything
it's so
about
finely
it,
tuned. They just don't give you the fat stuff to get the bat on. 2 ball, 2 strike count. And he reached, and he's got a base hit. Took it the other way, Kenny.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You have to hit the ball the other way. If there's so many pitches on the outer half of the plate, you kind of have to be leaning that way. That's why Glavine, every once in a while, will throw that fastball inside to move you off the plate. He didn't do so to Rodriguez. And watch him go the other way, reach out and spank this ball into right field. Not his best swing, but a good reaction on the part of the hitter. Here's the reaction of the pitcher, Tom Glavine. Well, that ball's through the hole. And as he was taught many years ago, when the ball's hit to the right side, you start for first base as a pitcher.
Leadoff man on in every inning for the American League, yet they've not been able to convert. Von Rodriguez, and he'll foul that one off. The catcher from Texas had a single his first time up. We mentioned how during the regular season he has been 1, 2, or 3 in batting average in the American League, and how no catcher has ever won an American League batting title. In fact, only 2 catchers have ever done it in the National League. Ernie Lombardi, one of the great catchers of all time back in 1938 with Cincinnati, and Bubbles Hargrave with the 26 Reds. They are the only guys who've ever come away with batting titles as catchers. One of the ironies this year, at one point in the first half of the season, Ivan Rodriguez and Jason Kendall, the Pirates catcher, were both leading their respective leagues in average. Catchers just don't do that very often, probably because they get so darn tired from catching that they haven't got enough left to hit for that kind of an average.
At this point, as we look at the batting average of the American League leaders, Bernie Williams of the Yankees, who's scheduled to come off the disabled list and will perform in the second half of the season, been out about a month, barely leads Ivan Rodriguez by 3 points.
It'd be something to have both catchers stay in that batting race in both leagues. 2 strike count here. Runner at first, nobody out. Reach for center field. Larry Walker coming. Bonds coming. Base hit.
See, another case in point. The outfielders have to play very deep here. The ball carries, and any blooper is going to fall in. They just can't get to it. There's a lot of room between the outfielders and the infielders. Good pitch by Glavine again. Once again, an American League hitter reaches out, hits one off the end of the bat, and it's going to fall in front of Larry Walker in center field. Not well hit, but well placed.
Now the American League keeps doing it. American League has had 8 base runners and no runs. First 2 on, nobody out. Cal Ripken hit into a double play. His first time up. See the 15th straight start for Cal Ripken. Willie Mays had the record. Cal Ripken has now overtaken him with a start here in this game for consecutive starts. It's about longevity. He's probably got the record. Down the line and right towards that fair ball, and it's off the wall. Fair ball. 2 base runners almost catching each other. The 2 Rodriguezes will come across. Alex and Pudge tied at 2. Ripken with 2 RBIs on a double.
Well, Ripken, like Barry Bonds, just missed a home run to the opposite field. And once again, American League hitter going to the opposite field off of Tom Glavine. Ripken following through on the swing. Look, he's even creeped up on the plate. That's closer than he usually stands. Gets good wood on it and almost gets it out of the ballpark. Karam's off the wall. He's going to have to turn it on and go for a 2-base hit here. And he's going to pick up 2 RBIs. I think Rip thought this one was out. He was counting on that 10%. He only got 9 as the ball hits off the wall.
More important to run than calculate in order to get your double.
There was Rodriguez thinking about tagging up, and now he's got another Rodriguez, no relation, right on his heels. and they both will score as they're waved home.
It's like they were going to catch each other. 2-2 game. So Tommy Glavine touched up here for 3 consecutive hits. And now Damon Easley will be the pinch hitter. Easley coming on for the pitcher Roger Clemens, who, as we said, is only going to work 1 inning, and that in fact is what he's done. First All-Star selection for Easley from the Detroit Tigers, and he puts one to second base. Great stop on the flip, no play. Biggio dropped it off to Weiss just in case he might have a play, but he didn't. An infield single for Easley. Good effort. No result.
Well, he saved a run by coming up with a play, and not many second basemen in the game would have gotten to this ball. Easily off the bench, right back through the middle against Tom Glavine. Nice stab by Biggio. Now he flips it to Weiss to help hold the runner at third base and Ripken. There's Ripken. The ball is hit to his left, so he'll take off for third. You see the stop of Biggio, the heads-up play. Ripken has to hold at third.
Still nobody out. First and third. And the leadoff batter Kenny Lofton takes a strike. He has walked and singled 4 consecutive hits in this inning off left-hander Tommy Glavine. 8 hits in the ball game now for the American League. They've tied this ball game up at 2-2 with the RBIs going to Cal Ripken, who's at third. And the slider misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Glavine touched up hard here in the All-Star game. He had a 2.63 ERA at the All-Star break, 4th best in the league, along with 12 wins, tying him with Maddox for first. And a check swing ground ball. Glavine. Runner holds at third. Ripken. He gets the out at first. On Lofton, down to second base went Easley.
You know, if it wasn't for Greg Maddox winning 8 straight Gold Gloves and the Gold Glove representing fielding excellence at your position, well, his teammate Maddox has won it 8 years. I think Glavine would have won it a few times. And this is a great play coming off the mound, stretching out, holding the runner at third, and then throwing out the speedy Kenny Lofton. That was a tougher play than it looked.
Now can he work his way around some more trouble? Only 1 away, 2 in scoring position. Alomar is singled and popped out. Roberto Alomar, and the pitch is taken away for a ball. Glavine has already thrown 43 pitches in an inning and a third. Both he and Maddox, not noted for throwing a lot of pitches, have done so here in this ball game. 2-2. Alomar, good block in the dirt made by Piazza.
It's not that Glavine's been hit hard this inning. The only ball that was really hit with authority, I think, was Ripken's, and the others, you know, kind of opposite field hits and a blooper by Rodriguez. But it shows you that you don't need to have the big bombs to score some runs. So just put some hits together.
2 on here. Off speed pitch, swung on and missed. Home plate umpire says foul tipped and held on to, and a 2-ball 1 strike count on Roberto Alomar from the Orioles.
There's this look at the swing and a miss, and it looked like he was trying to load up on that one.
Glavine checking Ripken at third. Fouls that one off. It'll even the count up 2-2. Alomar, 30 years old, a .304 career batting average. Coming into this All-Star game, he had 4 hits and 8 at-bats, including an All-Star game home run. There's his brother, Sandy Alomar Jr. 2-2 the count. Nasty off the fist.
Well, you see Easley at second base and Alomar at the plate, 2 of the better second basemen in the American League. In fact, Easley probably is having the best overall season. This is his first appearance as an All-Star, but Alomar, you know, the veteran, he's been here every game of the 90s. Every All-Star game, he's been there.
What a great treat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. Game tied at 2. 2 runs in here in the 4th inning. Tommy Glavine going to work his way through this inning. Managers don't like to take any pitcher out in an All-Star game. They want him to finish whatever innings are supposed to work. This would be the 2nd and last for Glavine. Fastball inside at the letters that time, and the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The guy who wouldn't mind seeing Glavine come out is Bobby Cox, the manager of the Atlanta Braves. Gets to throwing too many more pitches, and he may call down here and say, hey, Jim Leyland, think you can get my guy out of there?
Well, first of all, he starts off with Maddox, and he comes right back with his second best starter in Glavine. He's using these guys up.
And he walked him. So Tommy Glavine has surrendered 2 walks in his 2 innings of work, and the bases are loaded. 49 pitches thrown. And you know Jimmy Leyland, the skipper of the Marlins and of this National League All-Star team, is a little concerned about that. And he will make a call to the bullpen here to get some action going.
That didn't look like such a bad pitch. Alomar showing the good eye and drawing ball 4. And it puts Glavine in a very, very tough spot.
Bases loaded, and Ken Griffey Jr. coming to the plate with only 1 down, infield at double play depth. And Griffey going for the salami right there. Strike 1.
Griffey with that unique stance where he holds the bat just over his shoulder, kind of rocks back and forth before he gets his timing. He does like the ball out over the plate, and you saw that big swing.
Griffey really wound up on Glavine that time. Single in his last at bat. 1 strike count, 1 away. Inside corner, called strike 0-2 on Griffey.
Piazza shifts to the inside corner. Glavine puts the ball right in his glove. Might as well have just walked up there and handed it to him.
Freddie Lynn has the only grand slam in All-Star history. Only 1 ever hit in this, the 69th All-Star game. Chin music from Glavine. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
It's a little wake-up call. You know, pitchers every once in a while move hitters off the plate.
That set him up for that breaking ball down and away.
Something down and away. And also, if you're a hitter, you got to take that as a sort of a compliment. They don't brush back 230 hitters.
He's not a 230 hitter. Timeout will be taken here.
Home plate umpire Ed Montague calling the time. His dad was responsible for maybe signing the All-Star of All-Stars.
1-2 count. Griffey fouls it back.
His dad was a scout for the Giants years ago, and you know, a lot of people I think have taken credit for this, but his dad was involved, let's say, in the signing of Willie Mays, who holds several All-Star records.
Heard you talking about him. Took the mask off so we could see.
Yeah, all right.
Appreciate that. Ed Montague. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Sacks full. Glavine to Griffey. Missed inside. 2-2.
Willie Mays, who holds the All-Star record for runs scored. He scored 20 runs in 24 All-Star games. And I think he has the most All-Star hits, too, 23.
Leyland's got action in the bullpen. Kevin Brown. 2-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Glavine wanted that one right there.
Didn't miss by much.
Glavine has given up 10 home runs on the season. Leyland concerned about the number of pitches being thrown. 31 in this inning alone. He's over 50 in the game. 3-2. Griffey fouls it back. Glavine will have to do it again. Tommy's going, hey, wait, this was supposed to be fun.
Well, this is a nightmare that many American League pitchers have had with Griffey at the plate and the bases loaded.
He has struck out 64 times, drawing 44 walks. 3-2 count. Again. Walked him and walked in a run. Griffey will get the RBI as Cal Ripken crosses the plate. The bases will remain loaded, and the American League now has a 3-2 lead. And Jimmy Leyland is on his way out. And he wants to go to the bullpen. He was hollering to the second base umpire, Brian Gorman. And that's because of the number of pitches thrown here that he's going to get him out of there. And that's appropriate.
I think he got the call from Bobby Cox.
Yeah, I think he did. Tough outing for Glavine. 57 pitches thrown. Kevin Brown on when we come back. American League leading at 3-2. Sun setting here in Denver outside of Coors Field. What a beautiful sight here on this Tuesday evening. We hope it's as nice wherever you are in the world. Gary Thorne, Kenny Singleton, thanks for joining us. Major League Baseball International's coverage of this All-Star game, and Kevin Brown out of the pen.
Look at his numbers on the year. 10 wins, 3 losses now for the San Diego Padres. 2.67 ERA. Strikeouts and walks, a very good ratio. Not many hits, fewer hits than innings pitched. Tough pitcher.
And foul back by Gonzalez, so the bases remain loaded. And Juan Gonzalez, he'll get the opportunity to hit the second ever grand slam in All-Star history. Easley, the lead runner, at third now. Alomar at second, and Griffey on at first. Tommy Glavine gave up 5 hits in an inning and a third, didn't strike anybody out, and he walked 3. Brown, that one to center field. Tagging up at third. Easley, Walker's got it. Throw will come into third base. Gonzalez will be credited with a sacrifice fly and an RBI, and the American League's got a 4-2 lead.
And while I know a lot of Juan Gonzalez's fans would like to see him go for the distance and cash in all 4 of the runners, one thing he will do, he'll get at least one of them home. He got the sacrifice fly to center field, and I don't believe he hit the ball well off the end of the bat and broke his bat, and the ball still travels to medium deep center field. If he gets good wood on this, I mean, this ball is still going. Walker hauls it in, and he picks up the RBI on the sacrifice fly.
Power and thin air combining. Jim Thome going for the downs right there. Fouls that one back. He has walked and flied out. This is the 9th man up in the inning. The American League has hit around here in the 4th inning, picking up the 4 runs, all charged to Tommy Glavine, who gave up 4 consecutive hits, got a batter out, and then walked 2 more. And the American League's on top 4-2, out hitting the National League 8-2 in the ballgame. Thome takes the fastball from Kevin Brown up high. For Kevin Brown, this is his 4th All-Star appearance. He's having a great season in San Diego, 10-3 and 7-0 in his last 8 starts. Jim Thome fouls it off at the plate off Brown, 1-2. San Diego Padres are on top in that National League West by 5.5 games, and he's one of the reasons why. Another team that's in all likelihood going to go to postseason play. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Runners on at first and second with 2 down now. Right-hander to Thome, misses down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
American League continues to send up these great RBI men.
Chance to chat a little baseball. Foul back. We told you Jim Thome's numbers all around are just spectacular. 73 RBIs, 3rd in that department. His 1st in doubles, 2nd in runs, 7th in average, 2nd in walks, 2nd in slugging, 2nd in on base. Not much more offensively you could do. 2-2 delivery to him. Strike 3 call. Brown with a fastball. Works his way out of the inning, but it was a big one as the American League batted around, coming up with 4 runs. Cal Ripken driving in the first 2, had 2 on, and delivered this 2 RBI double. Welcome back, everybody, to Coors Field in Denver, where the American League has jumped out to a 4-2 lead in this 1998 season, the year of the chase. Mark McGwire, can he reach the 61 home runs? Griffey, Sosa, Galarraga all have a chance. So does Rodriguez, all of whom you are seeing here tonight.
This is going to be a tremendous season. I know the races aren't what you might think, but you look at the individual records that could be broken this year, and I have a feeling that the home run record will fall this year. And if fans can remember last season, both McGwire and Griffey had very poor Julys, and that's supposed to be one of the hot months. McGwire hit only 6 home runs in July. Griffey hit only 3.
Don't expect that to happen.
No, and McGuire ends up with 58 and Griffey with 56. I think both of them are going to do it.
Chipper Jones leading it off. Brad Radke, the new pitcher for the American League from the Minnesota Twins. A 25-year-old right-hander, his first All-Star appearance.
The ace of the Minnesota staff, won 20 games. This year he's won 9, lost 6. And you might notice the number 22 that Radke wears on his back. When he was a youngster growing up in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, his favorite pitcher was Jim Palmer of the Baltimore Orioles, and that's Palmer's number. Palmer's in the Hall of Fame. Radke's windup, very similar to that of Palmer's.
Gets the strike in, 3 balls and 1 strike on Chipper Jones. Radke, a couple of fastballs, throws pretty good cutter, slider, changeup, brings it in a hurry. And that one misses outside. So Radke gives up a leadoff walk to Chipper Jones here in the 4th inning. Wells, Clemens, and Radke now all have walked the batter in their appearances.
Here's a look at the stylish, easy motion, and then the over-to-the-top delivery. Remember that leg kick, that pointed leg kick, Jim Palmer bringing that knee up and flexing it just about right there, and then coming straight over the top with the fastball. If Radke can go on to win 268 games like Palmer, he'll have a shot going to the Hall of Fame.
Piece of cake. Leadoff batter on here, and a pitch taken on the outside corner for a strike by Mike Piazza. The National League starting catcher popped out to short his first time up. 308 average in 6 All-Star game appearances. National League down by 2 now. They've had only 2 hits. Roger Clemens charged with both hits and both of the runs that were scored.
Now, the home run hitting contest here yesterday, Mark McGuire hit one 510 feet, but the regular season home run record for distance, the man at the plate, when he was with the Dodgers, Mike Piazza, hit one 496 feet to left center field here, and it just landed yesterday.
That one hit in the air to center. Piazza's got himself a base hit. Griffey dropped it, and the runner's going to try and advance. Jones to third. Ripken's tag not in time. An error will be charged to Ken Griffey, allowing the base runner Jones to go to third base, and good heads-up base running.
Well, just a slight hesitation when he rounded second, but Chipper Jones, a good all-around ball player and base runner as well, realized the situation when Griffey bobbled the ball in center. First of all, we'll take a look at the base hit. Pitch up out over the plate. Piazza right back through the middle with the line drive. Watch it skip off the grass and handcuff Griffey. This bobble, and even though he makes a strong throw to third base, Chipper Jones just ahead of the tag by Cal Ripken.
So here comes the National League. Runners at first and third now, with nobody out. And Larry Walker, hometown hero, fouls that one off outside of third. Ripken giving chase. No play.
And like a lot of the new ballparks, Gary mentioned earlier, Coors Field has been in existence since 1995. Not much room in foul territory, so the fans are right on top of the action. It gives the fans in the front row seats a lot of chances for foul balls, but it also makes it a lot better for the hitters, because balls like that in the older parks, like Oakland Coliseum, would have been caught, and Walker's back in the dugout.
The chant is Larry. 0-1 delivery to Larry, and a pop-up. Ripken in foul territory, puts it away, 1 down here in the 4th inning. And Julie's with the rocket. She's going to talk to Roger Clemens. Let's get out to Julie Croteau.
Thanks, Gary. I'm here with Roger. Roger, well, one Hall of Famer got to you, Tony Gwynn, but the other, Mark McGuire, did not. Can you tell us a little bit about that classic matchup?
Well, you know, out of all the at-bats, you know, wouldn't you know, I run into Mac out here, and you know, I just wanted to try and pour it on and let him swing for the fences. That's what all the fans came to see. And, you know, you find out what works and what doesn't work as far as your breaking stuff. And my arm felt pretty good for, you know, it's really my day to throw on the side after I pitched on Sunday. So we just turned it loose. And fortunately, I came out on top there. I faced Tony Gwynn a lot of times on these All-Star games. He got me this time.
Well, your arm looked very good as well. You just had a significant milestone, 3,000 strikeouts. I know Mike Hargrove was catching a lot of grief about being the first, but over 3,000 good hitters have joined him.
Yeah, that's pretty neat when Mike, you know, picked me for the team, and he was my first one. And And yeah, 3,000 was awesome, and I feel very proud about it and very thankful.
Well, thank you very much. Back to you, Gary.
Julie, thank you. And what a story continues to be written here for Walt Weiss. Weiss has just picked up his second hit, a single and an RBI. Radke getting hit up here. It's now a 4-3 game with runners at first and second base.
Here's a look at Walt Weiss with the base hit. One Brave will drive in another as Chipper Jones will cross the plate.
Now Gary Sheffield has come on as the pinch hitter for the pitcher Kevin Brown, and Sheffield takes a strike. Not mentioned how many Florida Marlins of last year are here in other uniforms, Ken.
Well, we saw them in the postseason last year for the fans who were with us, and Sheffield in the Marlins uniform along with Kevin Brown. There were 6 Marlins, 5 of them former Marlins in this ball game, including Sheffield. I think one thing that Sheffield found out when he was introduced in the pregame ceremonies, I think the team that is most hated here in Colorado is the Los Angeles Dodgers. And anybody in a Dodger uniform, including the former Dodger Piazza, caught heck from the crowd.
That's right. And the new Dodger, Jeff Shaw, hasn't even been there long enough to know where it is. Got booed because he had on a Dodger uniform. He just got traded from the Cincinnati Reds. Sheffield taking that one, a 1-ball, 1-strike count. And there, of course, is the manager of the Marlins, winning the World Series last year, Jimmy Leyland, having his team decimated here this year. He felt that his former players had earned the right to be here, and he selected many of them as the reserves. Another one of those rainmakers, the pop-up behind second base. Look out. Shortstop way over to hold that one in was Rodriguez. Sheffield's out of there.
1997 Florida Marlins reunion. 98 All-Star game. Current team, Jimmy Leyland, of course, the manager, rumored he might be leaving at the end of the season. Edgar Renteria, the only one left. Moises Alou now in Houston, Kevin Brown, San Diego, Rob Nett in San Francisco, Gary Sheffield in Los Angeles, and Devon White in Arizona. The last two, the only ones who aren't really involved in a race, along with Renteria, the young shortstop who is not really that high on the salary list, and that's one reason he's still with Florida. Al Leiter with the Mets. Might have been here, but he was injured in the series against the Yankees.
Unavailable to play. I say Salou, of course, on hand now with Houston. 1-0 count on Craig Biggio. First and second, 2 down. 4-3 game. The American League on top. Biggio got hit by a pitch his last time up as he was plunked on the arm by Roger Clemens. That's the protector he was just looking at. We were talking about. He gets hit so often on elbow side that it's a whole new kind of piece of equipment that's being used here just to protect the elbow so he can keep playing after all these being hit by pitches. Brad Radke got it in, fouled off down the right field line. 1-2 on the Houston Astro, Craig Biggio.
You know, one thing we've seen out of the leadoff spot here, you have great speed with both Lofton and Biggio. They're run producers in scoring runs, but they also drive in a bunch. 50 RBIs at the All-Star break for a leadoff man is an outstanding number, and he's on pace for 100. Lofton, leading off of the American League, has driven in 41.
And he leads the league in runs scored, Ken, the other part of it. So he's done it at both ends, getting on for others and then picking up, bringing in runs. 1-2, good pitch by Radke, missed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes as he backed him off. 84 degrees the temperature on this beautiful evening here in Denver. Despite the overcast skies, it is very pleasant for this All-Star game. Of course, twilight time here in Denver. We saw a brief look at the sunset going down, coming through some clouds there a minute ago. Radke missed inside, and the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Another close pitch not called a strike. Radke's forte is his control. Doesn't walk many. In fact, all these pitchers in this All-Star game, they can just about put the ball where they want to.
They have to against these hitters. 3-2 away. Runners will be going at first and second. Craig Biggio's gone. Breaking ball in the outside corner. Radke gets the strikeout. 1 run picked up on a couple of hits, an error, and 2 are left on base. National League gets 1, but they trail 4-3. And you're looking at downtown Denver being rebuilt even as we speak as a commercial and business center in this ballpark. A part of that. Welcome back to the 69th annual All-Star game. The American League leading it by a score of 4-3 as the hitters have started to have some kind of an impact. We'll take a look at Alex Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez will lead it off for the American League here. And Alex Rodriguez, despite his young age, only 22 years old, he has put together some great seasons, both offensively and defensively. His numbers have been outstanding. When you look at some of the numbers, Major League Baseball record for shortstops in any 2 consecutive seasons, 59 home runs in back-to-back years over a two-year total, and all those RBIs and hits. I think you're looking at a future Hall of Famer.
A great one right there, and a long way to go in it. Devon White has come into the ball game to play in center field. Larry Walker was playing there. He moves over to right, takes Tony Gwynn's place, and Tony Gwynn has come out of the ball game. Those changes, and right-hander Andy Ashby from the San Diego Padres, 3rd best ERA in the National League, comes on in place of Kevin Brown, who worked an inning and struck out 1.
92 strikeouts, 35 walks, and 142 innings. Ashby good, keeps the ball low. Good sinking action on his fastball, and he was a former Colorado Rocky.
And a good one.
Yes, he was. But he's gotten better since going to San Diego.
Colorado's noticed that, as always. 1-1, punched in the air to right field deep. Maybe the first stinger. It is way back. It is gone. Goodbye. Home run. Rodriguez gets it. Alex Rodriguez greets Ashby, a ground ball pitcher, with a home run into the power alley in right center field.
Well, first of all, it usually dictates the pitch was up, but it also shows you the type of power that Alex Rodriguez has. He does not have to pull the ball to generate enough power to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and that is especially here at Coors, especially true here at Coors Field. First home run of the ball game.
You finally get one of those homers we've been talking about for days. And the slider on the outside corner. So now the American League back on top by 2, 5-3 on the home run by Alex Rodriguez, who has 27 during the regular season, 2nd most.
Well, Rodriguez certainly happy. Fills a column for his all-star career, his first all-star home run. I believe it's going to be the first of many. See the pitch is up, as I suspected. Piazza reaching up to catch the ball that he never got leather on. A lot of wood in between that ball and his glove, and out of the ballpark for a home run.
So Rodriguez picks up hit number 9. 9 hits in the ball game for the American League. He really drove that one. He's had a 2-for-3 day for Alex Rodriguez, with a home run and a single, and a couple of runs scored in the ball game.
Well, after the first 2 innings of 2.5 innings of nothing happening on the scoreboard, the last 2 innings, runs have been scored. The hitters are picking up the pace here.
2-2 delivery, foul back. 5-9-1 for the American League, 3-4-0 for the National League. Leadoff batter for the American League has reached in all 5 innings in this game. You don't want that happening if you're the pitcher, because that certainly increases the chances of scoring in baseball. You can get that leadoff man on. 2-2 delivery, and that's taken up high. 3 ball, 2 strike count.
One thing that Johnny Oates, the manager of the Texas Rangers, has done this year with Ivan Rodriguez, he has moved him down in the lineup. As we look at the setting, the backdrop of the clouds here beyond the fence in left field at Coors Field.
3-2, powered but foul down the right field line. Count will stay 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And by moving Rodriguez down in the order, trying to get more RBIs out of the 5th and 6th position in the order, and backing up Juan Gonzalez. Rodriguez with 48 RBIs at the All-Star break, and he should get somewhere near that 100 RBI mark.
Number of runs going to be scored is phenomenal here, with these RBI numbers being put up. Punches that one down the right field line again. Walker over, then that corner's got room and puts it away. Ivan Rodriguez retired 2 for 3 now. A couple of singles in the ball game for the Texas catcher. One away here in the 5th inning. Cal Ripken coming up, had the first big hit of the ball game for the American League in that 4th inning when they batted around. Ripken had hit into the double play first time up, delivered a double down the right field line in the 4th inning with 2 on, and the 2 Rodriguez's ahead of him came around to score. And Ashby delivers and misses down low for a ball. Baltimore Orioles have been a huge disappointment this season. 26 games behind in the American League East after they'd opened up the bank and spent everything that was in it to get a ball club together they thought could win, and it has not worked. There you see Baltimore and where they are.
Yeah, you see where the Yankees are ahead of Boston. Boston realistically thinking about the wild card, 11 games back.
Slider misses outside. 2 ball 1 strike count on Ripken from Andy Ashby.
In fact, the Red Sox, the wild card was today, the Red Sox would win it. See Texas 5 behind. Blue Jays, Oakland, and Minnesota. In fact, the Red Sox record is good enough that they would lead the other 2 divisions.
They'd be in first, but for the Yankees' great start. Good scoop made at first base by McGuire, and the throw by Walt Weiss. And there are 2 down. Ripken retired.
And McGuire shouting across the infield, hey, get the ball up, I'm a big target over here. A lot of kidding going on. Walt Weiss taking it on the other end. 2 parts to every play for an infielder. First, the catch, that's clean. The throw is not so clean. And McGuire, who has won a Gold Glove in the past, picks up Weiss and makes the play.
I mean, he's noted for all the bat work he does, but he can pick him up. Ben Grieve will come on, one of 2 rookies in this All-Star game, and what a great first half Grieve has had. Son of Tom Grieve, former Major League player himself and executive in the Texas organization, who taught this young man a lot of baseball.
Like Ben Grieve, #1 pick of the Oakland A's, and one of 2 rookies in the game, along with Rolando Orojo of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. But Grieve, one thing you've got to be impressed with is his poise at the plate. Doesn't swing at very many bad pitches. His swing has been compared to Ted Williams, of all people, at such an early age.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is kind of scary.
Well, his numbers have been scary. Among the rookies, he leads in almost every offensive category: home runs, RBIs, runs, hits, total bases, doubles, walks, on base, slugging, all of them. And he draws a walk right here. So Ashby surrenders a walk to the rookie. Grieve goes down as a pinch hitter on at first base with 2 away, and back to the top of the order.
You mentioned his dad, Tom Grieve, with the Texas Rangers now, their organization. Tom was a #1 pick by the Washington Senators back in the 60s, and Ben, a #1 pick by the A's. They're the only father and son combination been picked #1 in the draft.
You see Grieve in that on base percentage among the leaders, 5th overall, and he's on again here. That's a lot of baseball talent being handed down the genes if you got dad and son as #1 picks. Kenny Lofton, the leadoff batter, 2 singles, 2 for a walk rather, and a single, 1 for 2. Runner on at first base, 2 away. A 5-3 lead for the American League as they've pounded out 9 hits so far in this game. And for Kenny Lofton, here's what he's done tonight. He's up for the 4th time in 5 innings. And a chopper to second base. Bijou, they'll get the force to Walt Weiss, and that will do it. But the leadoff home run by Alex Rodriguez off Andy Ashby has added a run to the American League here in the 5th, and they are now back on top by 2, 5-3. Welcome back. Coors Field, Denver, and the American League on top by a score of 5-3. They won the All-Star game last year in Cleveland 3-1, trying to make it 2 in a row. Darren Erstad comes on from the Anaheim Angels. He'll be playing in left field. Kenny Lofton out of there. Derek Jeter from the New York Yankees at shortstop, as Alex Rodriguez, who hit the home run, comes out of the ball game. And we will get a new pitcher from the Cleveland Indians, Bartolo Colon.
What a turnaround for Bartolo Colon. Young pitcher with a great arm. Might be one of the hardest throwers in the American League. As you look at his numbers, 98 strikeouts and 124 innings pitched. Here's a look at his teammate Omar Vizquel. But Colon last year, when he was with the Indians, was sent to the minor leagues on 5 different occasions. This year he's in the All-Star game.
Sometimes you just got to work at it.
Yeah, that's right.
Devon White will get his first at bat. White leading it off here. Numbers he has put up on the season. Fastball from Colon misses outside, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes.
Devon White, no stranger to All-Star games, has made it with the Toronto Blue Jays, and now representing the expansion Diamondbacks.
Goes after big time heat right there and does not catch up to it. A 2-ball 1-strike count. 13 homers, 49 RBIs coming into the All-Star break for Devon White with the new Arizona Diamondbacks, who have struggled as might be expected in their opening year. 23-year-old right-hander. Colon with a 3-1 pitch, and that's going to be a gapper into left center field. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. White will make the turn, head for second. Griffey will get it in. White's going to try for 3. Missed one cutoff man. The throw to Ripken, not in time. A triple for Devon White.
Well, we talked about all the home run hitting, but still one of the most exciting plays in baseball is the 3-base hit or the triple. The ball headed for the gap. Griffey's not going to be able to cut it off. And we mentioned the walls are very far away here, so a long run to retrieve the ball. I think the triple came into play when he missed Derek Jeter on the relay throw. White continues. Watch him get to second. He's going to turn it on right here. He sees the missed relay man, and then he heads for third and beats the throw from the second baseman, Roberto Alomar. The throw from Griffey should have hit Jeter. They would have gotten White at third.
Only 1 triple during the regular season, and now 1 here for Devon White, as Griffey, missing that cutoff man, gave him the chance to go. That's hit number 5 for the National League, and Mark McGwire. For McGwire, 0 for 2 in the ball game. Bartolo Colon touched up for the extra base hit, and that will bring Rodriguez, his battery mate, out to talk with him. Bartolo Colon, as we said, just 23 years old, from the Dominican Republic. He'd like to give himself a chance to win a game here. No non-U.S. born pitcher has had a win in an All-Star game for a long time. Juan Marichal out of the Dominican Republic, 62-64, and Charlie Lee, who was from Orleans, France, in 1984, had a win. The only foreign-born pitchers with wins in an All-Star game. That one misses up high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
When I was growing up, Juan Marichal was my favorite pitcher. San Francisco Giants, and his career lasted long enough, and mine started early enough that I got a chance to hit against him.
Was he still your favorite?
In a way.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, that's right.
I think he'll admit I hit a home run off of him, but when I came home, my dad said, "How did it feel to hit a home run off your favorite pitcher?" And I said it was kind of bittersweet in a way, because I know if I had faced the Juan Marichal of a few years earlier, I wouldn't have been hitting any home runs.
You never know now.
Yeah.
Yourself a break on that. You're a 3-time All-Star yourself here.
Yeah, but he was a great Hall of Fame pitcher.
Yes, he was. 1 ball, 2 strike count on McGwire. Devon White off third base. And the slider misses outside. 2-2 to Mark McGwire. Mark McGwire, and going after, of course, the Roger Maris record. We told you right now the best home run rate on home runs per at bat ever. And he holds the top 2 marks set in 1995 and 1996, and may do even better here in 1998.
Well, you hear the crowd starting to stir because McGwire has run the count full. It's time to put up or shut up for Colon. 7.2 at bats per home run. That is just awesome. That's 1 better than every 2 games. 1 every 2 games.
Babe Ruth was 1 every 8.4 at bats. 3-2 to McGwire, and he walked him. So Bartolo Colon. There's Sammy Sosa, the man up there in that group of home run hitters this year.
Well, McGuire, no stranger to the walk. He has walked 88 times halfway through the season.
So the National League down by 2. They've got 2 on with nobody out. And Bonds coming up. There you see the walk leaders. Barry Bonds coming up now with 77, second to McGuire. Bonds has drawn a walk in this game, and he has flied out to left field. He was going for thin air right there. Strike 1 on Bonds.
Now, we talked about how the ball flies, but everything's relative. I mean, if a fastball pitcher throws into thin air, doesn't the ball go a little faster? Does a hitter, when he swings his bat, doesn't the bat come through the zone a little faster?
You still got to see it, hit it.
That's right.
0-1 delivery to Bonds.
Ooh.
Chased some high heat that time. It didn't get it. 0-2.
Active career home run leaders. McGuire with 424. 8 more for Bonds. He'll get the 400. Joe Carter 13 more. Then Cal Ripken 23 more. And Jose Canseco should take the lead for Latin players in home runs very soon.
Bonds fights off the pitch down and away. 0-2 count.
2 great players, Orlando Cepeda and Tony Perez, tied at 379 for most home runs by a Latin player. And Jose Canseco having a great year up in Toronto with the Blue Jays.
Not here at the All-Star game. Canseco. Bonds fortunate to be here. He got a pretty good case of food poisoning last week. Had to miss 1 game. Didn't eat for 2 days. Feels better and obviously well enough to be here. Stays off the fastball away. A 1-ball 2-strike count on Bonds.
Colon is rushing it up there pretty good.
Well, he throws hard, doesn't he? Devon White on at third. The triple. McGuire on at first with a walk. Nobody out. Cleveland Indian right-hander in a hole here. 1-2 delivery to Bonds. That one down the line in left. Big problem if it's fair. It is a foul ball. Only 347 down that line. Not much of a corner there. You run out of room. Bonds has twice hit the ball hard that way.
Here's a look at a pitch up and out over the plate. Bonds gets on top of it, but the ball is twisting off the bat, and you can see about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet foul.
Bonds uses a very light bat and chokes up on that. He's got one of the lightest bats around, especially for a guy who's a power hitter. Little conference at the mound here now. Mark Wiley, the pitching coach with Cleveland, is Colon's pitching coach, of course.
And one of the reasons why Colon has turned around. Colon had a game recently against the Yankees on June the 21st. That was in Cleveland. 8 shutout innings, allowed just 3 hits and struck out 10. It was one of those no-touch games for the Yankees, or very rarely touched.
He's got a 1-2 count on Bonds with these 2 base runners on. 5-3 lead for the American League in the 5th inning. Bonds takes it down low. 2-ball 2-strike count. We have seen the bullpens active here tonight. Rolando Araujo up in the bullpen now. These pitchers, Glavine had to come out of the ball game. Brown came on for him. Another shot down that left field line, curving, and that's going to be a foul ball. Remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Bonds has taken several shots at that foul ball down the left field line. If he were a field goal kicker, he'd be out of a job because he can't get it through there. It ain't fair territory.
He's providing some souvenirs, though, I will say that for him, of this All-Star game. Also a tough at bat. This is going to be the 8th pitch thrown to Barry Bonds in this at bat. It's a 2-2 count. Outfield still playing him to pull the ball, even though he keeps whacking it down the left field line. 2-2 delivery to him, and he pulls it. Oh yeah, way back right field. Take a good look. Goodbye home run off the facade of the upper deck. care what air you hit that in. That's a home run anywhere.
Yeah, a lot of us do. There's a sign. If you hit that sign and he just missed it, it's worth $1 million to the fan who gets the ball.
Could have had people dying out there if he hit that sign. Chipper Jones, and all of a sudden the National League is on top 6-5, his first all-star home run.
And it was touched off. Finally got a pitch he can handle up middle of the plate and smoked.
Ground ball to second base by Chipper Jones, and the throw a little off the mark by Alomar, but Jim Thome hauled it in, and there's a buzz going on here at Coors.
Hey, here's the reason why, Gary. The pitch is right. Oh, Bonds. Well, I guess he got tired of going to left. Certainly went to right on this one. Deep to right, and there's a sign. Just missed it. And the fan in the lower deck there have got that ball. If it had hit the side, been worth $1 million.
You better believe that fan's going to want a video replay.
Did he know it?
You're sitting under that sign, you know it.
Wow.
What a shot by Bonds. 20 at-bats to get that first all-star home run, and a 6-5 lead now for the National League. A chopper by Piazza to short. Got to hustle Jeter just in time to get the out. Piazza retired, and there are 2 down, but there are 3 runs in here in the 5th inning. They're estimating that home run at 451 feet by Bonds.
Here's a look at the side angle view of the swing, and look at Sammy Sosa. Did he know it? Well, Sammy's done it enough this year, 33 times, and he's heard that sound before. National League takes the lead, and that's where the ball hit. Barry Bonds plays for the Giants and hit the San Francisco Giant emblem up there on the facing of the upper deck.
Maybe he could be a field goal kicker.
Oh.
Moises Alou coming up. You take a look at Bonds. Alou, the pinch hitter, 314 on the season, 20 home runs, 7th best, 73 RBIs, 5th most. Alou up for Larry Walker. Pinch hitter Moises Alou chases the high heat of Cologne. Loses his bat as well. 2 down now.
Here's the numbers on Moises Alou. 3rd time he's made the All-Star team, and another one of those father-son combinations. His dad Felipe made the All-Star team back in 1966.
Goes through that one. Cologne gets the strikeout, but he's not a very happy pitcher, and there's the reason why. Barry Bonds, after a triple by White and a walk to McGuire, delivered his first all-star home run. 3 RBIs, and the National League is on top. Welcome back. The National League back on top 6-5. Bonds with that huge home run, 451 feet. Home run's always a great part of an all-star game. And this all-star moment, 1971 Tiger Stadium, July 13. One of the most memorable. Reggie Jackson hit a home run at Tiger Stadium that hit the transformer atop the right center field roof. The American League won the game by a score of 6-4. That one is still talked about.
The one that was hit by Bonds, 451 feet. Now that one by Reggie, that was pre-measurement, but it went somewhere upwards 450 plus off the transformer at Tiger Stadium.
Not only long but high, and the fans obviously love to see the long ball being hit by these great stars, and Bonds certainly got all of the one he hit, and they're back on top now. 6-6-0 for the National, 5-9-1 for the American League. We'll get a number of changes, catch you up on here. Ugueth Urbina, the right-hander for the Montreal Expos, now on the mound for the National League, and it's fouled back by Roberto Alomar. First batter he faces. Alomar, Griffey, and Gonzalez are due up. Andres Galarraga has come on to play at first base. The Atlanta Braves. Alou stays in the ball game in right field. Nasty pitch, slider down and in. 0-2 on Roberto Alomar. And Vinny Castilla's in the ball game. his home turf. That's where he plays third base. Javi Lopez of the Atlanta Braves now doing the catching. Urbina on the mound. And a chopper over his head to second base. Biggio off his glove. Craig Biggio trying to throw it before he had it. And that will put the leadoff man on here in the 6th inning.
Now this is going to be called an error on the usually sure-handed Biggio, who has won a number of Gold Gloves in the National League at second base. But remember, I said everything's relative here. The ground balls even move faster. Ball hit, took a quick hop off the glove and on into the outfield. Watch the skip with a hop there. Take that high hop off the glove and into center field. And the American League has something started with an error. But now they've changed it. They've changed it to a hit.
Wow. Well, they're calling it a bad hot base hit. Foul back by Griffey, so a single is hit number 10 for the American League. 5th in saves in the National League. For the Montreal Expos, their closer.
Who get Urbina? Who get team Urbina? You.
First ever, right?
First ever in the major leagues. A player with the middle name U, first name U, and a last name U.
And his first All-Star game. And a broken bat, slow roller. That's going to be real trouble. That's a base hit. So Griffey gets his second single, 2 for 3. The guy you expect to drive at about 550 feet gets one that just barely squeaks by the pitcher's mound with Urbina sprawled out trying to knock it down.
You know, the ball was hit so poorly, he hit it so poorly it turned itself into a hit. Now watch this. The bat is going to be shattered. And Griffey will get the base hit. Alomar is going to be off and running across on the ball being hit. Galarraga comes up with the only play would have been at second base, and Galarraga couldn't handle it cleanly. So Urbina has given up back-to-back hits, infield singles.
He's going to be wondering what's going on here. They haven't gotten the ball out of the infield, and they got 2 on. American League, all 6 innings now, they've had the leadoff man on base. And Gonzalez, he wants the dinger now.
Here's a look at that last play once again. Of course, Griffey's in the market for a new bat. Urbina diving. Galarraga. That's the ball that didn't want to be caught.
The old seeing eye single. Gonzalez 2 on. Nobody out. Sac fly, RBI in the 4th inning, has popped out and grounded out. Got fooled on that one, behind on an off-speed delivery by Urbina. And the count goes to 2 strikes. He was looking dead red and didn't get it.
By the financial constraints of the Montreal Expos ball club, the last few years they've had some pretty good closers, and they've had to move 2 on because of the fact they were making too much money. Prior to Urbina, it was Mel Rojas, who's now with the New York Mets. He was traded to the Cubs, then on to the Mets. And Rojas was pretty good in his job up in Montreal. And prior to Rojas, it was John Wetland, who's here tonight with the Texas Rangers, having been traded back in the 1995 season, prior to the season, from the Expos to the Yankees and then on to the Rangers as a free agent. But the fact is that Felipe Alou, the manager of the Expos, feels that Urbina could become the best of all the closers that he's had, because he throws hard, he's still a youngster, and he's still learning.
That means he'll be traded in a year or 2, right?
Well, they signed him to a long-term deal, whatever that means in Montreal.
More than 6 months.
Yeah.
Swung on and missed. Good pitch by Urbina right there. And Gonzalez is retired. First strikeout for Urbina. 1 away here in the 6th inning.
But one thing you have to say about the Expos, they kind of replace their players. They come up with new ones that take the place of the other ones that have gotten more expensive. Not even close for Juan Gonzalez. A sharp breaking slider by Uget Urbina. By the way, his 2 brothers, their initials are UUU.
You're kidding. How can you come up with that many names?
Well, Ulysses and Utah and
go to the Thesaurus.
Yeah.
Jim Thome, the batter. And Thome swings through it. He has struck out, walked, and flied out. Starter still on for the American League as they are down 6-5 in this game, even though they've out-hit the National League 11-6. They've got 2 on here in the 6th inning and only 1 away. Infield at double play depth. Ashby worked an inning, charged with a run. on a hit, the home run by Rodriguez off Andy Ashby. Thome swings, big cut on that one, strike 2.
Good tight slider by Urbina. A slider meant to look like a fastball until the last second when it breaks sharply. And with Urbina being able to push up the radar guns and throw very hard, somewhere around 95 to 97 miles an hour, you have to start the bat. And he starts it on what he thinks is a low fastball. Turns out to be a slider in the dirt.
Going to the rosin bag, Urbina. The American League now has had 16 base runners in 5 1/3 innings. As the National League pitchers, Maddox, Glavine, Brown, Ashby, and now Urbina have had to work with runners on every inning. Runners go in the 0-2 pitch, and no throw made. A double steal. Alomar goes to third. Griffey goes down to second base.
Not much of a chance for Javi Lopez. The pitch was in the dirt. And that's a play that Alomar will look over at Griffey and say, watch me, I might be headed, try to get myself in scoring position, and you as well, if you will follow. Alomar takes off. The pitch is in the dirt. Not even a throw to third base. And you can see Griffey coming in the back door on the double steal.
A big chance now for Jim Thome, third in the league in RBIs with 2 in scoring position.
Here's a look at that pitch in the dirt, and Lopez was all he could handle just to catch it, let alone throw it.
Good block. If that gotten by, a run probably would have scored. Only one away. 1-2 delivered to Thome. Check swing, and that'll be fouled off outside of third. And the count will stay at a ball and 2 strikes. We started out with the pitchers dominating about the first 3 innings. Now all of a sudden the hitters are on base regularly.
You know what I think has happened here, and by the game starting at 6 o'clock local time, hitters maybe not able to see the ball quite as clearly. Now it's getting later in the evening. The lights have taken effect, and there's more of a contrast between the ball and the surroundings.
A little easier to see, makes it a little easier to hit. Second and third occupied. 1-2 count. Urbina to Thome. Fouled off Javi Lopez's glove, and the count will stay at 1-2. At tough at bats. That's what all these great hitters that you see in an all-star game give to you as a manager and as a team. Even when they make outs, the at bats are hard. They foul off the opposing pitcher's best stuff, make him show everything. Will take 5, 6, 7 or more pitches in an at bat. It's what good hitting's all about. Fight off the tough stuff and try and force the pitcher into a mistake that you can hit. Thome takes it inside, and you don't go after bad balls. 2-2.
Urbina, the closer for the Montreal Expos, has picked up 20 saves this year for Montreal. Jimmy Leyland has several choices to close this ball game. Urbina was one of them. He has Jeff Shaw now of the Dodgers, Rob Nen of the Giants, and Trevor Hoffman of the Padres. All of them are closers by trade, and all of them have been outstanding this year.
2-2 delivery on the way to Thome outside. That was one of the big issues. The ball's right there at home plate. For both these managers, the one question they would not answer prior to the start of this all-star game was, who's going to be your closer? Hargrove and Leyland both said, we'll wait and see. That's exactly what they're doing. You got a lot of guys who want to be the closer in this game.
Well, Urbina, the youngest of the 4 in the National League, maybe by default he won't get a chance to close the game. You see how fast he throws. Lopez off the heel of his glove, then off of his shoulder. Fortunately for him, the ball stays near home plate. He had no clue as to where it had gone. But Urbina has struck out 51 men in 39 in the 3rd innings this year.
This is going to be the 8th pitch in this at bat to Jim Thome, who's got 2 on in scoring position. 3-2, and he walked him. What an at bat. He wouldn't even give in on the 3-2. Thome would not go after it. So the bases are loaded with 1 away. To our viewers in the United Kingdom, where can you check the speed of your fastball? How'd you like to see if you can hit Major League pitching? It's all possible if you attend Major League Baseball International's baseball festivals. Participate, a carnival atmosphere, nothing but baseball. Get a postcard made, learn baseball tips. All coming up in the UK, July 9 through 11. Nottingham, Market Square, July 16 through 18. Manchester, Piccadilly Gardens. And in Bristol at Broadmead, the 24th through the 26th. For those in the UK, great chance to get caught up. Here is Derek Jeter. This is his first at bat. Jeter came on to play at short.
It's his first All-Star game. Having a great year for the Yankees. His numbers might have been even better if he had not been injured. Went on the DL for a couple of weeks.
1 strike count, 1 down. Bases loaded. Jeter. Strike on the outside corner from Urbina. 0-2. There's a matinee idol in baseball. You're looking at him.
Big time in New York. One of the, of course, he's single and the eligible bachelor, all that sort of thing.
0-2 count. Let's see. A star in New York.
Yeah.
A multi-millionaire.
I don't know about that yet, but he's
an all-star baseball player. Joe Torre's your manager, is going to kind of let you play this game.
Torre has said that through the first part of the season, the MVP of the Yankees, who have had a great year, has been the man you're looking at, Derek Jeter.
What a great compliment that is. 1-2 count to Jeter. Sacks are full. He takes the pitch up high. Only 1 down. The National League's lead is 6-5, but it is tenuous at this moment. Urbina trying to work his way into a ground ball to get 2 and get out of this inning. Jeter with 10 home runs. That one gets away from Javi Lopez, and a run will score. Now Lamar comes in with a tying run. Game time at 6, and it's on a pass ball as Javi Lopez has really had his problems catching Urbina.
Well, it shows you the movement of the pitches, and that might have been a cross-up because right now they're having a discussion. I think Javi Lopez is looking for a slider, got a fastball up near the mass. He was looking for the break, couldn't handle the ball as it breaks off his glove. Now, the reason why it's a pass ball, as Gary called it, a wild pitch is usually a pitch in the dirt where a catcher doesn't have a chance. This one was up where he could get a glove on it, and it's called a pass ball, and that is like an error for a catcher, and the run scores.
They will talk about the signs. That's why they were covering their mouths there. And Jeter swings and misses. So Urbina comes back and gets the strikeout. That'll be his second here in the 6th inning, and with runners at 2nd and 3rd, Jeter's retired, and there are 2 down. Hard work.
Yeah, he's not out of the woods yet, though. He has a 2nd leading hitter in the American League at the plate. Jeter's first all-star at bat, well, kind of painful as he swings and misses at strike 3, but not as painful as mine. I was hit by a pitch.
That's really painful. Now there are 2 down. Game tied 6-6. There goes the bat. It too carries further in thin air. Went all the way beyond third base.
That's third base umpire Rick Reed doing the honors of retrieving the lumber for Ivan Rodriguez. Now watch this. You know, back at sea level, this would have landed maybe halfway down the third baseline. But here in Denver, all the way to the outfield grass.
It's that 10% factor. He's going to go back and get a little pine tar here and see if he can hang on to that for his next swing. A run in, 2 on, 2 down. Rodriguez has had 2 singles in 3 at-bats for the Texas catcher. Hoping to bring home Griffey, and Jim Thome is on at second base. 6-6. American League battling back here as the National League got 3 runs in the bottom half of the 5th inning on that 3-run blast by Bonds. That one gets away, and another run will score. Wild pitch. Griffey crosses, and it's a 7-6 lead for the American League. That one was in the dirt.
Well, an unusual way to score some runs, but you know the velocity of Urbina, and you know Javi Lopez never caught him before, so he doesn't know how quickly he can get it up there. And this is going to be a wild pitch because this one is in the dirt, and it off the glove of Javi Lopez back to the screen, and the American League is going to pick up another cheap run. You know, there's the difference between the pass ball, the one he should have been able to handle, and the wild pitch thrown by the pitcher in the dirt.
1-1 delivery on the way outside. He only has one wild pitch during the regular season. 2 runs in here, 1 on a pass ball and 1 on a wild pitch. That's a big ouch. If you're the National League team, those really hurt. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Fouled off right at the plate, and Rodriguez has the count evened up on him now. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You saw a shot of Mike Piazza still in the dugout despite the fact he's out of the ball game. He's probably saying, glad I don't have to catch this guy.
That's why when you get some of these pitchers who have such great movement on their pitches, they are assigned catchers, and one catcher even on their own team will catch them all the time, because if you don't, you end up with what you're seeing here. Pass balls and wild pitches. 2-2 count, runner at third base up high. The other thing that does, Ken, is when this happens, it starts to limit the pitcher's ability to throw the stuff he wants to throw. He's afraid.
And all of a sudden he has to center one in the middle of the plate, and that's when he gets hit.
Yep. 3-2 count, 2 down. Urbina. And that's going to be a base hit for an RBI. Rodriguez gets a single. Thome scores. Rodriguez now with 3 hits in the game for Pudge Rodriguez. First run batted in today, and it's an 8-6 lead for the American League.
Great point, Gary, about the fact that it limits what you're able to do. You're afraid to make the tough pitches down and away because the catcher hasn't been able to handle you. Then all of a sudden you're throwing pitches in the middle of the plate, and watch where this one is. You can't throw a pitch right here to Pudge Rodriguez. Belt high, middle of the plate, and he just swamps it into left field for a base hit. Ball's hit like a rocket.
So 3 runs in. There goes the base runner. No throw made by Lopez. Stolen base for Pudge Rodriguez. Catchers love to steal bases.
Well, that's his 5th this year. Well, he came into this season with 4, this half point of the season with 4 stolen bases. Ties the record for steals in a ball game. That might be his first all-star steal.
And these steals tonight have been off the pitcher, off the catcher. No, let me check that. Off the pitchers, not the catcher tonight. Another ball in the dirt that Urbina got down low that Javi Lopez had a hard time finding. Lopez is going, wait a minute. I am a catcher.
I am an all-star.
I am an all-star. I have a glove.
Here's another one. Slider in the dirt. He doesn't know where it is. Right in front of you, Javi.
Ripken up. And he laces it to right field. Not deep. Alou coming over. Alou diving, will not get to it.
One thing you'll always see from Moises Alou is the effort. He showed it to you last year in the World Series when he drove in 9 runs. And I know I thought he should have been the MVP of the World Series.
Yeah.
Here's a good look at that last effort by Moises Alou. The ball falls in front of him, but certainly gets some applause from the fans here to appreciate the effort of a 3-time All-Star.
1 ball, 2 strike count on Cal Ripken. Ripken delivered a big hit way back in the 4th inning with a double that drove in 2. That chopper's at the plate and it's foul. And the count remains at 1 ball, 2 strikes on Cal Ripken Jr. He has gone the distance here in this All-Star game.
Well, it continues since the top half of the 3rd inning. In each half inning, we've had at least 1 run scored.
Lots of base runners in this game. Urbina's thrown 33 pitches in this inning. That's more than he would generally throw in 2 or 3 games. 1-2 delivery inside. Javi Lopez having to box it. And you know Lopez now is just dying behind there. He's like, you know, how am I going to stop these pitches? I've got to get the whole body there. Just don't let it go by me.
Instead of being an all-star catcher, he's turning into like a goalie in a World Cup.
Just stop it.
And you know if Felipe Alou's watching this game, wherever Felipe is, the manager of the Expos, he's watching Urbina get through a tough inning. He said, this is the guy who's got to close the game for me when we come back.
Chopper to second base by Ripken, played by Biggio over to first, and that will do it. But 3 runs in, 1 on a pass ball, 1 on a wild pitch, and 1 on a Pudge Rodriguez single, and the American League's up by 2. A lot of runs would be scored in this game, and indeed they are. 8-6. 2 of the RBIs picked up by one of the game's great hitters, who's with Julie Cruto right now. Julie?
Thanks, Gary. Tony, you got the best of Roger Clemens.
I wouldn't exactly say that. I just kind of found a hole, and you know, Robbie usually makes that play and went off his glove, but I'll take it. I hadn't had a hit in 4 years, so it was nice to get one.
2,874 hits. You're looking to break 3,000 with all the records that players are going after and milestones they're trying to break. Do you feel pressure?
I don't feel any pressure. I'm going to have fun with this one. I've worked a long time to get to this position, and I think this is one you should try to enjoy. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm not putting any pressure on myself to try to get there this year, but you know eventually you're going to get there, and so I'm going to enjoy it.
Now, you're the definition of a franchise player. You've been with the Padres through the good, the bad, and the ugly. What does it mean to you to be leading the NL West?
Oh, it's a good time right now, to be honest with you. This is the most fun I've ever had. We played really good baseball, and we're confident. We're a confident bunch. We just believe if we can go out there and get good pitching and good defense every day, we're going to have a chance to win. And really, this is what the game is all about. It's about winning. And so I'm going to enjoy this year. This year might be the last time we get to do this. So we're going to go out and try to win and try to enjoy it.
It's always more fun to win than to lose.
That's very true.
Thank you. Gary?
Julie, thank you very much. Araujo has come on to pitch, and Walt Weiss will lead it off here. You're taking a look at the first Cuban-born rookie pitcher ever named to an All-Star team. Rolando Araujo representing the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Walt Weiss, center field. Erdstad has moved over to center from left, puts it away, and Walt Weiss is retired, one away here in the 6th inning. A lot of changes here in the ball game with the benches coming on.
New York Yankees right fielder now playing left field here in the All-Star game is Paul O'Neill. Darren Erdstad, as Gary mentioned, moved from left to center. Manny Ramirez of the Cleveland Indians in right field. Scott Brooks of the Yankees now at third. Rafael Palmeiro of the Orioles now at first. And Sandy Alomar not in the game. Ivan Rodriguez still in there doing the catching.
Rodriguez fooled us. He came out late. Alomar came out, started warming up the pitcher, and Rodriguez came back. A pinch hitter, Fernando Vina, on to face Araujo. Vina representing the Milwaukee Brewers. Here are a couple who could have been Cuban-born facing one another. They're not, because while Araujo is Cuban-born, Fernando Vina's parents moved to New York just before he was born for the purpose of getting him a U.S. citizenship and the opportunity to raise their son in the United States. He has been eternally grateful for that defection made by his parents to the U.S. and here he is in an All-Star game for the first time. Fernando Vina. 1-2 delivery to him and a line shot. He's going to get a base hit. Vina's on, so his first All-Star at bat is a single for Fernando Vina. You like to see good guys have good things happen to them. That's a good guy. Hit number 12 for the American League.
Vina getting a pitch out over the plate and lines it into left center field for the base hit. And you see the concentration on his face, watching the outfielder to see if there's a miscue, and he could continue on down to second. One thing I liked about that base hit, he ran hard right from the start, only stopping when the play was made cleanly in the outfield.
He never plays a game any other way, does he, Kenny? He's one of those guys. He's a dirty uniform kind of player, just like this guy. Craig Biggio. If you wanted to go into the laundry business, you would definitely want Fernando Vina and Craig Biggio to be living in your neighborhood. I can't believe Craig Biggio, somebody cleaned his helmet. He's got to be ripped. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Biggio goes through an entire season without cleaning his batting helmet. And I bet somebody here didn't know that.
The equipment manager of the Houston Astros, before he left to come from the All-Star game, cleaned that helmet up so it would look good in front of a worldwide audience.
That's not fair.
Well, you know, that's how it works.
Great slider. So he's out of there, and the reason is he got that helmet clean. We know it. I want to remind you, this November, Major League Baseball returns to the land of the rising sun. Major League Baseball versus Japan All-Star Series will continue. Baseball's best players from the Major Leagues challenge Japan's All-Stars, a 7-game traveling series. Games will be played in the cities of Tokyo, Osaka, and where else?
Fukuoka.
You played there.
Yes, I did.
The '98 Japan Tour, November 5 through the 15th. Check with the broadcaster in your country for details.
It's been a long time since I've been over there. I understand that in Japan they have some new stadiums. In Tokyo they have the Tokyo Dome, and I think they even have a dome stadium in Fukuoka, which might have held Eddie Murray's home run years ago.
Devon White's got another hit. A single for Devon White, so he has tripled and singled in his at-bats. And the big hand for Andres Galarraga, who played here last year, now with Atlanta.
Well, Galarraga left at the end of the season, signed with the Atlanta Braves. The Braves would give him one more year guaranteed on his contract than the Rockies would, and that's why he's in Atlanta. But still fondly remembered here, the only player ever on an expansion team to win the batting title. He did that with the Rockies in their first year in '93.
And he has laid to rest all of those people who said, yeah, but he plays in Colorado. His numbers are just as good on the road when he played here as when he played home. They're just as good with Atlanta as when he played here. A towering fly ball. Deep center field's going to stay in the yard. But he got the fans on their feet. Andres Galarraga to the deepest part. Tommy Sant, first base coach, and Sandy Alomar Jr. and the fans all joining in the buzz on that one. No runs, couple of hits, 2 left on. Galarraga got him up, but he's out. Welcome back, everybody, here in Denver. 69th annual All-Star Game, and it's 8-6 with the American League leading it. And these great shots from overhead tonight being provided for our international audience. These beautiful pictures from the Bud 1 airship. This Bud's for you. Gary Thorne, Ken Singleton, all of our crew, welcome back, everybody. Night settling in here. This game, though, not settling in. It is wide open, going back and forth. 8-6 lead for the American League. And a full house on hand here, and more changes, Ken.
Dante Bichette, favorite here with the Rockies, taking over in left field.
Trevor Hoffman is on the mound. Fernando Viñas at second base.
After getting that base hit, stays in the ball game. That's Edgar Renteria, had the game-winning hit in the 7th game of the World Series last year for the Marlins. He's now at shortstop.
0-1 delivery by Trevor Hoffman to Scott Brocious, who is batting in the number 9 spot and getting his first at-bat. Comeback player of the year.
Look at the numbers on Trevor Hoffman. 40 strikeouts in 37 and 2/3 innings, only 11 walks, 23 hits, 0 home runs. He's given up in the closer's role for the Padres.
Another guy who keeps the ball down. Tough to get it up off him. Got a sinking fastball, slider, good curve, and a great changeup.
Yeah, a strikeout changeup, I call it.
Scott Brocious, what a year. What a find for the New York Yankees. He's gone here. Hoffman gets the strikeout. Brocious is retired, and there's one down here in the 7th inning.
Hoffman has all the weapons, and you heard Gary mention the curve, and that's it. Drops into strikeout onto the corner for call strike 3. Here's a really good look at it. The break on the breaking ball. Ed Montague rings up Brocious for the first out here in the 7th.
One down. Trevor Hoffman working here to Darren Erstad. Erstad is now playing in center field after he started in left after coming off the bench. Numbers he's put up: second in the American League in doubles, as he has picked up 28. Erstad here in an 8-6 game of the American League on top. Lead has gone back and forth. Fouls that one off down the left field line. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the major reasons why the Angels are in first place in the Western Division in the American League is Darren Erstad, former #1 draft pick, has really come into his own. His first All-Star appearance, has great tools. He's played a lot of first base because of injuries to the Angels, but he is primarily his #1 position is outfield.
Great breaking ball right there. There's that changeup we were talking about. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Standings in the American League Western Division: Anaheim just a game and a half ahead of the Texas Rangers. Then Oakland and Seattle The Mariners are just falling apart in the pitching department, and that's why they're 13 games behind.
That may be the best race for the second half of the season, maybe the only one in the American League West. That one in the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The Rangers led for the first couple of months, and the Angels overtook them. And now the Angels went into the All-Star break with a 5-game losing streak. So the Rangers, or the Angels, lost 5 in a row, and the Rangers cut the lead.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Erstad. Trevor Hoffman working way over on the third base side of that rubber. Fouls that one off. Pitchers move around on that pitching slab lots of times, depending on problems they're having getting the ball where they want it. If you move just a little bit, it gives you a lot of differential by the time the ball gets to the plate. He's moved over towards that third base side and puts that front foot out even more so towards that third base side. Inside out swing to short. Renteria makes the play over to first base. Erstad is retired, and there are 2 down here in the 7th inning. The only member of the Florida Marlins. There's John Elway, the great football player here in Denver and a real local hero. He participated yesterday in some of the day before the All-Star game hitting activities.
He was in the celebrity home run hitting contest, and usually when you think of going deep with Elway, it's a long touchdown pass.
That's right. He almost became a ball player. When he was drafted, he said, I will not play in Baltimore. If Baltimore drafts me, I'm going to go with the New York Yankees. He played minor league ball with the Yankees. And had he been drafted by Baltimore, his threat was to go baseball, not football. He's a real good baseball player, was. And during batting practice yesterday, drilled a couple of balls out of here. Here's Roberto Alomar, the starter still in the game. He's had a couple of singles and a walk in 4 plate appearances for Alomar. Trevor Hoffman, 2-0 count to him, and it's taken up high.
Well, with Urbina coming in and now Hoffman, 2 closers by trade, and usually when Hoffman comes in the ball game in a save situation, it's a done deal. He has saved 33 in a row over the last 2 years and 52 out of his last 53. Game over.
So we were talking about for these save artists who are in the bullpens for these teams, lots of them. Mike Hargrove had a good point. He said, you know who gets shortchanged on all this are the middle relievers, because they don't have any numbers. There's no number. There's a thing called a hold, but it's not official. It's not kept officially. So it's the relievers who get the saves, with the guys who come in the middle taking the place of the starters to get to the reliever kind of get lost in the shuffle. Mike Hargrove compared them to football linemen. He said they do a lot of work. They don't get much recognition. That one hit deep to right field. Will it stay fair? Goodbye. Home run, Roberto Alomar. No home runs off Trevor Hoffman during the regular season. All-Star game put one up.
Every hitter he faces in this American League lineup is capable of going deep. And just behind Mike Hargrove is his brother, Sandy Alomar. Yeah, I saw that when I was a kid, he says. I knew his younger brother had the talent, and both of them have become multiple All-Stars.
Got that one. Paul O'Neill now will get his first at-bat, so the American League now up by 3 again, 9-6.
Let's see where the pitch is. Change up, but it kind of hung up there. I think Roberto knew he got good wood on it. It was just a matter of whether it stayed fair or foul, and he gets the home run.
Roberto Alomar's put himself in the MVP category right now. 3 for 4, a walk and a home run. He's played the whole game.
And you can see the flight of that ball as it lands into the lower deck for the homer.
Paul O'Neill takes a strike on the outside corner. 1-2 to O'Neill from the Yankees.
O'Neill has been with the Yankees every single year. He's hit it over 300. It looks like he's going to do it again this year with that 323 average. One of the most intense players in the game.
9th in batting average. Chops that one down to third. Castillo makes the play. O'Neill retired, but Trevor Hoffman gives up that home run to Roberto Alomar. And that tacks another one on for Roberto Alomar, his second All-Star home run. By a score of 9-6, trying to make it 2 All-Star wins in a row. One of the stars from the National League, Miss DiBiggio, is with our own Julie Croteau. Julie?
Thanks, Gary. Craig, great stop, great stab over second.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you know, it saved the run for a while and gave Tommy a chance, but they only had 1 run scored there, so which was good. And but once again, it's 9-6 right now, and in the bottom of the 7th, this game is far from over.
Now, this is your 4th consecutive start at second base. And it seems like the players are really having a good time, you know, with each other. Is it a good event?
It's a great event. I mean, whenever you have an opportunity to come to a game like this, and especially in a city like this, I couldn't think of a better place to have an all-star game in Colorado. So, you know, it's great. The fans are great here. And, you know, once again, I mean, this game's far from over also.
Thank you very much. Gary?
Julie, thank you. And Vinny Castillo will get his first at, Dante Bichette, rather, will get his first at bat leading it off here. In the 7th inning, member of the Colorado Rockies chops that one towards short. Peter with a throw, and that will do it. 1 down here in the 7th inning as John Wetland comes on and gets the out.
Wetland been a top closer in the major leagues for a number of years now, with the Expos, then with the Yankees, and now with the Rangers. Only 4 walks in 32 innings.
Control of all these pitchers who we see coming into this game. One down, nobody on. Here's Vinny Castillo, another Rocky, and he takes the pitch for a strike. $51,267, the largest crowd ever at Coors Field. For this All-Star game, they set a new record. Castillo pops it up right there at the plate. Alomar, Sandy Alomar now catching. Puts it away, and there are 2 down, so Wetland gets the first 2. International broadcasters on hand here. NHK sending the game back home. There are 3 broadcasters working here today. Venezuelan broadcasters also on hand here today, going back to Venezuela. Great to see you guys. Televisa from Mexico. They joined us all last year, of course, All-Star game, the postseason, and the World Series. TBS also here from Japan. Wetland gets the strike. There they are. TBS going back to Japan. The international flavor of this 69th All-Star game. ESPN, they're international, around the world broadcast there. Javi Lopez fouls back another pitch, and the count goes to 0-2.
Oh, with more players coming from foreign lands who play this great game, it's a good chance that people get an opportunity to see stars from foreign lands play in such a great event as the All-Star game.
It's a great setting as this. It's a beautiful city and ballpark, and this great full house on hand. Javi Lopez reaches on that one. It has not been a Javi Lopez kind of day. John Wetland threw 7 pitches, all strikes, to get through that inning. 1, 2, 3. We've completed 7. The American League, they won last year, and they're leading in this one up 9-6. Great to have you with us on Major League Baseball International's coverage of this All-Star game. The American League on top. Welcome, world. This copyrighted telecast, the property of the Office of the Commissioner of Major League Baseball, intended for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publications, reproductions, retransmissions, or other uses of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Bud Selig on the left, acting commissioner. They had a meeting today. I don't know if they voted today or not to make him the commissioner, but it's going to happen. Bud Selig, MacPhail, who's going to the Hall of Fame here this year, voted in, continuing that long line of MacPhails in Major League Baseball.
MacPhail, a former American League president.
Manny Ramirez, his first at bat, and he's up against Jeff Shaw, who's celebrating all kinds of things. Number 1, he's celebrating his birthday. First time a pitcher has ever pitched on his birthday in an All-Star game. See that uniform he's got on? He's never worn it before. 1-1. Ramirez chops it foul. Jeff Shaw is wearing a Dodger uniform in a game for the first time because he got traded on Saturday by Cincinnati to LA. Didn't get to the Sunday Dodger game, so he's never played for the Dodgers, but he's in the All-Star game with a Dodger uniform. How about that?
In fact, that uniform was not here yesterday during the workout. It got here sometime today before the game.
That's right. And as a result, Brett Boone, second baseman from Cincinnati, is here. Castilla makes the throw to first base, and they get the out. One down. A great story we've told you about Walt Weiss. Julie?
Thanks, Gary. Walt, your son Brody's here. He looks really healthy and happy to see his dad playing in his first elected All-Star game.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't expect that to be the case. We didn't expect the whole family to be able to be here, and thanks in large part to Jerry McMorris, so we were able to all get back here, and it's great that he was able to come here and watch the game.
And did his illness put everything in perspective for you?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it kind of trivializes everything that we usually get caught up in from day to day. So, yeah, it's a different world there for a couple of weeks, but things are looking real good now.
Were you touched, I imagine, by the response you've gotten here from the Colorado fans?
Yeah, I mean, the fans here, for whatever reason, have always been great to me. Played here for 4 years, made this my home. So it's just irony, you know, all this stuff coming together, and the fans here are best in baseball.
Well, I know everyone around the world is wishing you and your son the best. Thank you very much. Gary?
Thank you very much, Julie. Walt Weiss. Rafael Palmeiro getting his first at bat. Larry McMorris, owner here in Colorado, who extended that jet to go pick up Walt Weiss and his family. Just a great gesture. Said, hey, he's a good guy. I like him. I don't care who he plays for. Palmeiro fouls that pitch back. A 2-ball, 2-strike count with 1 down. Nobody on. Rafael Palmeiro, third time to the All-Star game. Those are the numbers in the first half for Palmeiro with the Orioles.
When the Rockies came into existence, I think that Jerry McMorris came on late as one of the investors, and it was kind of touch and go for a while before he got into it. And of course, the Rockies have come on to be a great success in Major League Baseball, at least at the gate.
That one off the fist is going to fall in for a base hit. And Palmeiro is on. Rafael Palmeiro a single here in the 8th inning. 14 hits now on the board for the American League, leading at 9-6.
Jeff Shaw was a member of the Expos a few years ago as a setup man. When he went to Cincinnati, he became the closer. Here's the pitch just off the end of the bat. Once again, I mentioned the fact the outfielders have to play very deep. That's why all these blue pits have a tendency to fall in here at Coors Field.
Another pinch hitter. This is Omar Vizquel getting his first at bat as he comes on for Derek Jeter. Talking about all these great shortstops, here's another one with the Cleveland Indians. First All-Star game, batting .302, 30 RBIs, 60 stolen bases. 5 straight Gold Glove awards. Runner goes, hit and run on. That's a base hit. Palmeiro on his way to second base. White will get the throw in, and a single for Omar Vizquel. Runners at first and third now with 1 away, and there's a piece of history for Vizquel.
Omar Vizquel, primarily known as a great fielding shortstop, but the last few years his hitting has come on to rival or almost rival his fielding. And Vizquel wears the number 13 on his back. He's from Venezuela, and I guess one of the all-time favorite shortstops in Venezuela, the great Davy Concepcion, who played with the Big Red Machine back in the mid-70s. Here's a look at the base hit by Omar Vizquel.
Now runners at first and third, and Sandy Alomar Jr. gets his first at bat. 6th All-Star game for Sandy Alomar. Named the MVP, of course, last year in his home park. First player ever to be the MVP in an All-Star game on his home field. And Alomar back here for another go-around. Runner goes. That one blooped towards right field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Palmeiro will score. Throw comes into second as Vizquel moves over to third, and Alomar's got an RBI, and it is a 10-6 lead for the American League. They have now pounded out 16 hits.
You know, Gary, one thing I noticed now, they always say that the American League is a power league and the National League is a speed league. The fact is that Mike Hargrove has started the runners time and time again during the game, and in doing so here, Vigna had to cover second base and couldn't recover to get the bloop single off the bat of Alomar. If he holds his position, he can make that play, but instead the American League has their 10th run of the game. So Mike Hargrove sending the runner using the speed of these American League hitters.
And how many bloop singles have we seen in this game? What you talked about earlier, Ken, these outfielders playing back so far. Here's Dean Palmer, pinch hitter. Palmer representing the Kansas City Royals, their third baseman. 291, 17 homers, 49 RBIs for Dean Palmer. His first All-Star game. And he fouls that one off on the jam pitch from Jeff Shaw. Still only one away. A run in. And runners on at first and third here in the 8th inning.
You see that heavy wrap on the elbow of Dean Palmer. He was hit by a pitch just before the All-Star break and was kind of touch and go whether he'd be able to play. But no player wants to miss his first All-Star game.
You can get here, you get here. He did. Palmer waiting 1-1 from Shaw. Good inside corner strike on the fastball. So Jeff Shaw has not had a happy birthday, at least this part of it. After getting the out, he's given up 3 singles in a row. 1 run in and 2 on. Greg Maddux, the starter, went a couple innings with nothing off him, and Kevin Brown came out of the bullpen for a third of an inning. All of the other pitchers have had runs off them. Broken back ground ball to short. Renteria, and that's it. What a great pivot! What a play at second base. Fernando Vigna got taken out on a slide at second base by Sandy Alomar and still turned 2. This is an all-star play.
A lot of pressure being put on at second base. Watch Vigna being flipped at the end of the play, but they still turned a double play.
Welcome back as the American League's extended its league now to 10-6, 16 hits for the American League in this game. Hope you're enjoying our coverage internationally and hope you'll be with us for the 1998 World Series. We'll be there wherever that may be. It'll kick off in the American League City for the first 2 games, October 17 and 18. Move to the National League City for 3, then back to the American League if necessary on the 24th and 25th. Right here, Major League Baseball International will have the World Series. Omar Vizquel will stay in the ball game. The Cleveland Indians shortstop is there, and on the mound, Tom Flash Gordon of the Boston Red Sox. Alou first ball hitting to right field, falls in for a base hit in front of Manny Ramirez.
Well, what you get here at Coors Field are the bloops and then a blast. So Tom Flash Gordon in, who's become a closer now with the Red Sox. He had for many years been a starting pitcher, and the first pitch he throws is blooped into right field by Moises Alou.
Gordon with the Red Sox 4-2 with 25 saves at the All-Star break. That one just Ramirez had a hold up on it. Edgar Renteria, this will be his first plate appearance. We mentioned the only representative from the Florida Marlins, the world champions last year. Gordon's numbers first in the American League in saves. Gets a strike on the outside corner.
No, we've only had 2 1-2-3 innings in this ball game. David Wells set down the National League 1-2-3 in the first inning, and John Wetland set down the National League 1-2-3 last inning.
The hitters have come on in this game.
The National League has not been able to set down the American League in order in an inning tonight.
That is amazing. We were talking at the end of 2.5 when it was 0-0 about how this might well be a pitcher's game. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Edgar Renteria.
16 runs and 25 hits later.
And about 19 hours into this game. 1 ball, 2 strike count by Gordon. Bad cut, foul back. Renteria being the only one from a former world champion to go to next year's All-Star game. Only the third time that has happened, where defending World Series champions had only one representative. The 46 Tigers, Hal Newhouser, 65 Cardinals, Bob Gibson. Renteria to third. Brocious knocks it down, but you're not going to go anywhere with that one. An infield hit for Edgar Renteria. Alou at second base. Can they mount a big comeback?
Tom Gordon's marquee pitch is his curveball, one of the best downers in the game, but chopped into the dirt. Brocious can't handle it at third, and the National League got 2 men out, nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Brocious tried to look at second before he caught the ball.
He's also got pretty good hang time. He also jump higher in thin air. He went way up. Fernando Vina. They've called that an error on Brocious. I don't think that's fair, because Renteria is a real speedy runner. He wasn't going to get him even if he came up with it, but it's an error. Second error on the American League. Sorry, Edgar, we can't give you a base hit on that. Now Fernando Vina batting in the 9 spot. Second at bat. He singled his first time up. Both these teams have battled from deficits in this game. And now the National League trying to do it again. They're down 10-6. They've got 2 on, nobody out. Against Tom Gordon. And Vina takes it up high, not even close. 3 balls and no strikes. Greg Vaughn has come out in the on-deck circle, representing the San Diego Padres. And he's on, and the bases are loaded. So that will stir the National League fans and their manager Jimmy Leland. Gene Lamont next to him, Mike Hargrove. The American League, not a lot of players left to come in this ball game. Greg Vaughn has been announced as the pinch hitter. 30 home runs for Vaughn, and he represents the potential tying run as he comes to the plate. Nobody out. Strike one.
Well, you mentioned the 30 home runs. He's one of 4 players with that many at the All-Star break.
And 4th in RBIs in the National League with 74.
Almost got traded to the Yankees last year. If it wasn't for a bump shoulder, he'd be in a New York Yankee uniform. Look out. And without 30 home runs and 74 RBIs, with the Padres being first place this year, they'd have Kenny Rogers and Mariano Duncan.
That wouldn't do it.
Duncan's playing in Japan now.
1-1 delivery, swung on, hit hard to third, base hit into left field. 1 run scores Alou. 2nd run coming in, Renteria. 2 RBIs for Vaughn, and it's now 10-8.
Well, that's what fans in San Diego have been seeing all year from Greg Vaughn. The ability to drive in runners. He'd been a big disappointment his first couple of years after coming over from the Brewers, but they wouldn't be in first place without him. See the shot by Brocious, didn't have much chance to flag it down. Look at him, hot corner indeed at third base. A smash by him, looked like a move by a matador, kind of an old lay move.
Well, you got to stay away from that ball.
Keep your head out. Keep your head away from that type of power.
So Vaughn with 2 RBIs coming on as a pinch hitter. Now runners at first and second, and the potential go-ahead run comes to the plate. Gordon getting touched up hard here. Ball's hit hard. A couple of hits, a walk, and an error. There's nobody out, and the Red Sox closer in trouble. Devon White came off the bench in the 5th inning. He has tripled and singled, and he fouls it off outside of first. Strike 1. Marty Aronoff, on the Aronoff, as he's affectionately known around the sporting world. Who the heck's left to play in this game? Ray Durham for the American League, still on the bench. Brett Boone for the National League, and Jason Kendall. 1 ball, 1 strike. Those are the position players. Tom Gordon, a 1-1 count. 2 on. And that's going to be lined into left field for a base hit. Up with it. Throw coming to the plate. Chance for the out, the tag, and they got him! Fernando Vina trying to come around to score. Paul O'Neill in left field. Gunned him down.
Paul O'Neill, one of the league leaders in the American League in assists for an outfielder, normally plays right field for the Yankees, but he looks very adept in left field on this play. Solid line drive base hit. Vina's going to attempt to score. Didn't hesitate, didn't hold him at third. Here's the throw all the way on the fly to the plate. The tag by Alomar, and Vina is out.
Well, here's a moment. Andres Galarraga up.
We've seen a lot of offense. We've seen some fairly good pitching early in the game. But so far, this is the defensive play of the game. The throw out of Vina at home plate by O'Neill.
Right on the money. Galarraga, chopper up the middle. Played at first, Vizquel. And Gordon points to the sky with a little prayer of thankfulness for the defense behind him. O'Neill throwing Vina out at the plate, and Omar Vizquel getting Galarraga on the short hop behind second base. That's why they're here. That's why this is an all-star game. American League up by 2. Tonight's presentation of the 1998 All-Star Game being brought to you by MasterCard. Gary Thorne, Ken Singleton, and our crew, and welcome back, everybody. Delighted to have you with us around the world as we bring you the 69.